All right, so it is November 13th at 6:30. This is the zoning bylaw review steering committee. So the focus of this meeting is really kind of pick up where we left off in terms of review of the use table. I think when I had initially sent out comments, I'm not sure if they showed up exactly, but I do have them showing up in this version that we went through. Last time we did go through, I believe, institutional, agricultural briefly, and residential. I'm happy to kind of revisit that if anyone wanted to kind of like go back over some of the things, especially with mixed use. And then, but primarily today, kind of go over business and wholesale industrial, as well as kind of start the discussion on accessory use, and I'll kind of show you what I'm starting to kind of piece together from Karen's comments. Does anyone want to look into residential again, or in terms of, I know we went through that a little bit, pretty well, but.
The one that you handed out tonight is the most recent version?
No, that's just the same version I gave you last time, just so you have something in front of you to write on.
So when we get in residential, we really didn't talk that much about G with the CBD.
Yeah.
Right, and the 3.5% and how we're gonna work that. I think we all agree that the 3.5% is a little much.
So that wasn't really,
3.5 times the ground floor, mixed use one, is that what you're
What's
talking?
that?
You're talking mixed use one?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's on the residential in G. So, actually a Z1, whatever, right? The 3.5% in the CBD zone. Is,
Yeah.
And then the B zone is 2%, 2 times, so.
so we did talk about that, and I did want to kind of like bring that up again, just because I don't know if I came away with a clear direction in terms of what our thoughts were. But essentially, without going over the top with it, have a reference to what is essentially not this breakdown, but just essentially say mixed use. We can obviously define mixed use, but then have it, C or pursuant to a subsection which provides further regulation. So this is what I initially wrote down. I think this kind of follows what the MBTA a little bit. Now, obviously not to the same detail, which again just goes back to, we can expand on this to make this more, but this is also just trying to find a way to have the density essentially factored in, which seems to be the big.
Well, the 3.5% is that was really giving us that 5-6 story buildings, right?
Yeah. Well,
so why couldn't that be down to 2%?
I don't think it's relevant. So I don't think we
But-
want to have 3.5% as the metrics for determining the amount of residential. So I think I mentioned that the whole 3.5 is based upon the square footage of the commercial.
Right.
I don't personally think that's a good way of designing a mixed-use building. I think it should be really reflective on the density per acre, and kind of similar to how we had it set up to the MBTA, only because we have all that excessive commercial space that isn't utilized.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I was told right after we did the MBTA and we came up with that plan that some developers had looked at it and they said they would rather stay with the underlying zoning because they could get more density, and they said to heck with the MBTA. So I think we want to push them to the MBTA.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was a better zoning than what we had originally, so I preferred, once we get through with that, I thought that the underlining should go and the MBTA should be the underlining of the main zone.
Yeah. And I wonder if that might be a better solution than just having mixed, what I mean? So that might be even a better idea.
So, I thought if we got this down to the 2% or something like that, it would force more to go to the
not
end.
2%.
Huh?
It's 2 times.
2 times, what, I know.
We're confusing.
But, it would, I'd rather see the 2%, but
Yeah.
no, it would force them more towards the MBTA. They'd probably get more density, right, with the
Yeah, but I mean, I
MBTA
think,
than the 2 times.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I guess what I would think is this section of mixed use it's almost like you would rather have the central business district take the boundary of the MBTA district. And then the regulations within the MBTA district would be the default. So like, if it says mixed use here, it says, you know, pursuant to section 16, which is how it's written that way. That would just kind of that would just involve changing a few, I mean, we'd have to make a zoning map change as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a big thing.
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of a big thing,
Yeah.
like, you know, let's say you own a parcel in the GR and then all of a sudden it gets, you know, folded into the CBD.
Yeah.
yeah. And
I mean, it
That's probably the
might
better way of
ultimately
doing
be a
it, but-
good way, but
Yeah.
it's a bigger sell or like a harder lift, I think.
it's a harder list, so you
Right, yeah.
factor in everything. And that's where it comes why this is such a problematic section, because you could almost make that the focus of town meetings, just changing this one whole portion of,
Right.
you know, replacing the CBD with the boundary of the MBTA, and then having the whole language default back to section 16. But, yes, that, I mean, that's one option. The other option was to just remove the whole 3.5% and just have a more traditional form.
3.5 times. or-
3.5 times, whatever. Thank you, John. Yeah. And just have more of a kind of a like a typical way in terms of determining density by the dwelling units per acre. And the numbers that would be there would be really kind of, would be the same numbers really within the MBTA.
Mm.
So it'd be kind of a variation of the MBTA, but I also agree, I don't know if that's probably, that's a way of stopping it, but at the same time, it's probably not, you know, the most efficient way. I think it's just we're thinking of the time frame.
I
Do
would
we
think
have a
when
map
I
of
would-
the MBTA in the bylaws?
No, it's not really the bylaws themselves.
Well, we
It's
tried
part
to
of the
have-
bylaws, but it's the same thing with the zoning map. The zoning map
Ah,
is,
zoning map,
yeah.
I figured,
Yep.
And there's-
It might be helpful. It didn't,
Yeah.
was there a reason we didn't add it? It's
Part of the
just
zoning.
too hard to get the details of where the boundary is? or-
I mean, it's in the zoning map, so it's the same thing. I want to put a zoning map in the bylaws and be its own separate
Yeah.
document.
Yeah.
But,
What is, do you recall what, no, I didn't know. I just heard the building inspectors talking about it, but the residential is a matter of right
yeah,
as a mixed use, but do you know what their percentage is, or how they,
off the top of my head, no.
how many times they can do it? I mean,
For their
I
MBTA.
know it's limited, but I
Yeah.
just overheard the conversations with them, I never really looked it up, you know, so.
I'm not really sure. I only know kind of the general area of where they have it. I don't know the language of their zoning for MBTA. I know they had, so the old dwelling units per acre thing is kind of, one way of doing it. I know, we have, like, example for multifamily in our bylaw now, there's the 10,000 square feet for each additional dwelling unit. Obviously, that's kind of not really realistic in a downtown, but that's another way of, like, you know, if you had 2,500 square feet for each additional dwelling unit, it's another way of saying, all right, we have a box, you can build a development based upon these certain dimensional regulations, these certain design regulations, but then your density is also capped based upon the size of the lot, not necessarily based upon what you could fit.
Not
into the
necessarily the
building.
size of the building, but also factoring the size of the lot as well.
Yeah, which almost is like another way of just trying to put a stopgap. So when you see a property, you say, what could be built there? Well, in terms of dwelling unit wise, you know what the maximum is. As opposed to if it's something under the current CBD, it really depends on how they design the units and if they can make the other dimensional regulations work. Like Spring and West is a good example. That's 2 acres. They got 95 units, but they kind of, you know, they were able to meet every other aspect of the zoning to make the building work.
Do you know how some of the other towns work it though? It's probably all across the board, how the other towns do it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
As
other
far as the
towns.
mixed use, so.
Westwood, I know, like, I mean, they have, you know, it's just where their districts are. I mean, the majority of Westwood is like a single family type district, but then they have really, you know,
Business
the
areas.
area by Westwood Station, or that's allows for mixed use, allows for multifamily, and then it's its own use, kind of like similar to MBTA. It has its own section, its own regulation. Whereas we have the thing for the CBD. We could even, I mean, that's another option too. You could just get rid of mixed use in the CBD and just default to the MBTA. Could be another option.
There's,
Yeah, it might be hard to get by.
there's no like official corridor, right?
Maybe.
Like on Main Street and 27, like defined corridor, like that, you know, where.
That wasn't like mixed use needs to be.
Yeah,
We talked about that during the process, and I think the reason it didn't go forward is because it would, if you limited to mixed use there, then you weren't allowing multifamily by right there,
Yeah.
which means your district boundaries spread further to compensate for the lost area.
okay,
Um,
okay.
Because
which,
do we expand the CBD zone? I don't think we did, but the MBTA goes outside of that.
a little bit, yeah.
It's larger than the CBD, but,
Yeah.
so,
For the inner core even, right, or only the outer core?
I think just the outer core, honestly. I
for
think-
for which?
So the two sub-districts for the MBTA, I'm pretty sure just the central core is the boundary of the CBD.
Well, I think it
Right.
might be a little bit outside,
Maybe a little
because I
outside.
think off of East Street there,
Yeah.
between East and Maple, I think, because the inner core only goes, I mean, the outer core is, how many feet?
I'm just gonna bring it up. The outer core is primarily what, the underlying district within the outer core is primarily general residence.
Hmm.
That was just why, the way of trying to create a
Right.
buffer zone. At least that was the thought.
I'm curious, how was Toll Brothers' submission? Was that, I mean, curious to see how it fit with the MBTA zoning, how they came in on that, so that,
It's, I mean, I would just say like, that's an interesting example because it's the one thing we kind of didn't factor any additional because it's split zoned.
yeah.
So there's no additional regulation that deals with like, hey, like we looked at split zones, last cycle in terms of the underlying district where we created that whole like, oh, if you're, you know, you can go 30 feet into the next district in order to extend a certain
Yeah.
use. The overlays don't, so it's just capped basically where the boundary line is. So the project is set up essentially to meet the dimensional regulations exactly as it is within each boundary. So this has two different housing styles,
Mm.
because I can't, oh.
I would bet that whoever put that language in for that 3.5 times didn't never envisioned the buildings that we have down now, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Right, no.
Yeah.
So that's the boundary. Yeah, I, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure, other than this parcel right here. Actually, no, yeah, actually, if you recall, this central business district does extend this way.
'Cause that
And
includes-
covers those, yeah, cause like the West Street property is in the central business district. So within the overlay, within the MBT overlay, we included that as part of the outer core. But, I mean, going back to just, I mean, this, yeah, I think it's interesting, right? So I mean, I think I would agree with keeping, you know, mixed use as prevalent as possible, but if we already allow for mixed use within the MBTA, and then we allow for mixed use in the central business district, it kind of contradicts, and the MBTA has probably, in my opinion, at least somewhat more defined regulations, and so you probably have a better, hopefully a better project, or at least somewhat of a more regulated project. So within the business district, that's a whole different animal though. So if you were to hypothetically look at this and just say, guess, mixed use and then default to the MBTA overlay district, or add the MBTA overlay district as part of the use table where we have the underlying zoning. I know Norwood does this aspect, they'll put the overlay districts in the use table itself, to also define where certain uses are allowed. If you did that, maybe you could remove this language or cater this language only to the business district. So have certain regulations for, because we do have the nodes of business that are all over the place, and have that better defined. But then when it goes to mixed use, don't allow it in the CBD, but then allow it in the MBTA. And that makes people, if you want to do mixed use or any sort of multifamily, you have to only basically follow it within the MBTA boundaries.
And so like the issue you brought up about like a project crossing boundaries.
Yeah.
So if CBD no longer exists, then what happens at the boundary of an overlay
I think the
versus
CBD still, it's just the use of, it's just mixed use.
Oh,
Yeah, I wouldn't,
okay.
I wouldn't
Okay,
get
you're
rid
not-
of the
You're not getting
CBD.
rid of, okay.
I'm thinking of a way to,
Well, what if we just went to 2 times like it is in the business district, and then it would almost force them into, if they wanted more density, it almost force them into the MBTA district, right? So if we just
yeah, I
say-
mean, hypothetical, yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying, is
mean,
we just
I'd
change.
rather be consistent with the MBTA, like do like the density, like Pat had talked
The what?
about.
I'm
To
sorry.
do like a density calculation,
Yeah.
you know, whatever we do in CBD, then business
Yeah.
also has to be something, so why have that be
I
different?
guess what I'm trying to say is rather than doing a zoning map change, which would probably be a more efficient way of doing it, but obviously a larger thing to chew on to take over. If we were to include, MBTA as part of this within the whole, within the use table itself, and it allows for mixed use, but it says it would be mixed use pursuant to section 16, multifamily pursuant to section 16,
Mhm.
and then within the CBD, it's not permitted, because the CBD is entirely within the MBTA, so it's almost, right now they kind of contradict themselves, right? Someone has the option to choose, I'm gonna do mixed use under this CBD, because I can build more.
Right.
Well, if we don't allow them to follow, use this certain regulation, then they say, oh, well, you are in the CBD, but you're also in the MBTA, and if you wanna do mixed use in the CBD, essentially you have to do it as under the MBTA.
Mm.
And you're saying that, so like pragmatically for the builder,
Yeah.
what would that mean in terms of changed amount that they could build or kind of uses that they could build? Like,
So the use is really would stay, like in terms of business uses, like the CBD still exists.
Yeah.
We still define certain uses that are allowed within the CBD. If we add the MBTA to the use table, we could also, denote whether or not, like, hey, you're allowed a restaurant there, you're allowed office space there, and all that stuff. But when it comes to just residential and just mixed use or multifamily, under the CBD, we, put an X, but if we have the MBTA, we put A, as in permissible, but then we would have something within the language that essentially says allowed pursuant to section 16.
yeah,
And so because the CBD is entirely, there's no portion of the CBD that is outside the MBTA, so it's not like it would be removing any sort of development potential. They would just have to follow the MBTA zoning if they
Mhm.
want to have mixed use or multifamily, and there wouldn't be any other option.
yeah. Which right now you could choose either way.
Correct.
Right.
So I guess what I'm asking is, what are the, like, if I'm a builder,
Yeah.
what's the reason right now why I would choose the central business district zoning instead of the?
Because you can build the building like the buildings they have down there now.
So
With the
ma-
MBTA, you couldn't.
So in the MBTA, technically, this is where the kind of the hang up is, and I know this is not something that most people would want, but technically in MBTA, you can't prohibit multifamily.
Mhm.
You allow, the mixed use is allowed in the MBTA as well, and we do have different regulations for that in section 16.
Yeah.
But if you got rid of the CBD, then, all right, you lose, not CBD, I'm sorry, you get rid of allowing mixed use in the CBD, you prevent what Ed's talking about in the sense of like you have a sea of commercial that's always vacant because they
Yeah.
it's the ends that justify the means. They built so much commercial because they were allowed to now build so much residential.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to do a mixed-use building, they still can, but now they only provide mixed-use space that's functional and that they want to use.
Yeah.
But if they want to do multifamily, they still have that option, which is kind of the trade-off. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure some people want to make sure you preserve commercial, and that becomes a little bit of a,
There's also the affordable component, so they
Yeah.
would be required to build a portion affordable.
oh,
Under-
technically they
under
are now
MBTA.
still, yeah.
10%, that's what cracks me up, it's capped at 10%, right? You'd have to go for special permission or
Yeah,
to
we would have-
extend
we-
it,
I-
which is crazy
Oh, right,
to me.
because we passed the inclusionary
Yeah,
zone.
but that
Actually
was-
inclusionary, so that's two things, so
Yeah,
if you do it under the MBTA, you're at your limit, you don't have to do more than 10%. If we wanted to do more, we'd have to go do a whole economic study, and I could change the
Right.
zoning to raise the figure beyond 10%. But we did pass an inclusionary zoning bylaw, which is equivalent to around 15%. It's a weird, we took it from
Mhm.
Mansfield and it's kind of
Mhm.
different. So like if you were to build under the CBD now, you'd have to follow the affordable requirements of the inclusionary zoning, not the CBD, not the MBTA affordable requirements. So you would provide more affordable units if you build mixed use in the CBD under what it
I see.
currently is listed.
yeah.
I see. And just to make sure I'm getting it clear, in terms of total number of units,
Yeah.
there's not really a difference in terms of the limit that's available, it's just that the same number of units under the CBD right now would require more commercial space. Is that wrong?
It would require commercial space to be built because we don't, within the
Yeah.
CBD, there's no multifamily, it's only mixed use. But the
Mhm.
mixed use is this whole thing we talked about. And the number of residential units is more open-ended. It's
Yeah.
more dependent on how you can make it fit within the building, whereas in the MBTA, each parcel has a figure assigned to it,
Mhm.
you know, and then you can see with like Toll Brothers, technically, there is a figure that's higher than what they're building, but
Yeah.
the type of development they're building dictates the actual density.
Yeah.
But, you know, in a hypothetical scenario, could you put a building there and build more units? Sure, but you'd have to make everything else kind of
Okay.
also fit and work
So,
out.
do we limit it to 3 stories or 4 stories in the inner core? And then, but if you had commercial on the first floor, you were given another story, right?
Yeah, so within the inner
Oh,
core,
really?
within the central core, inner core, it's 4 stories or 50 feet, which is what we have now for the CBD. But if you were to do mixed use under the MBTA, technically you can go to 5 stories.
Was it? I thought it was.
5
I thought it
stories and
was
60 feet.
3 to 5,
Where
I mean,
is-
3 to 4, but.
Yeah.
This is
so-
under the MBTA section 16.
Only within the central core, you wouldn't be able to
Right,
do
where's
that
5,
within the
16?
outer core.
On number 4, use regulations, 4A, on page 125. Of what Pat gave us like at the beginning.
5A?
Yeah.
5A.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, 5A, so in the central core sub-district.
Oh, sorry.
I was looking right at
Yeah,
it.
sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
5 stories and
I have
60
no
feet.
book, so.
No. Basically, you get to build a bigger building, but it's only in the central core, not the outer core, so
Right.
it's just, you know, kind of consistent with
Right.
what we have now. But then you also have different regulations under section 16.7, essentially dictating
Yeah,
how
but
the commercial
that's
use
basically
is.
saying, okay, you now have a 4 times multiplier, it's like a business.
Your density's still the same though. You don't get additional units, you just get a bigger building.
Right.
So it's not like you can add more units, it's just to factor in, all right, you have a commercial space.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well,
so one acre,
sorry, that's one thing about the
Make it quick.
MBTA zoning is that the density is more defined.
45.
In that, it's not just,
Right,
You know.
yeah, the way we, CBD now is kind of squishy. It's kind
Yeah.
of like,
Mhm.
you know, whatever they can squeeze in or
Yeah.
not, or what, and then it's, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what developers think, but I think there's probably, most towns that have this density configuration, they place a cap, where right now, there's really no cap, it's just, you just have to provide commercial space and you have to make the numbers work.
Sure.
I don't know, I mean, that's just, I didn't think of that coming into this, it's just an idea to kind of also float out there of, all right, well, if I add I'm looking at the table right now, and I added, you know, if we added the MCMOD to the use table and then go through the same process
Yeah.
of essentially identifying, and in this area where it'd be mixed use, we would put A or whatever under CBD X, but then the language here would essentially say mixed use, pursuant to section 16 or something like that.
Makes sense.
And then you could, but for the business district, that's a whole different ballgame. You'd have to kind of figure out, do you also default that to how it's written in the MBTA, or do you kind of make, something a little bit, different?
So are you still leaving G1 and 2 in there? Or would we, I'd still love to see that number come out of there and then.
No, I agree. I think all
Get it
these-
down to 2 and keep it to the same as the business, and then,
Yeah.
make them work it with the MBTA.
But the MBTA is already allowing like
Yeah.
4
Right.
times
Say.
instead
But
of
we're
3.
still kind of like hurting it that way, right?
So like,
Anyone remember offhand what the square footage of an acre is?
43,000.
What's that?
43,000.
What's it? No, 44 something, isn't it? 44 point something, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we always go by
It's less than
40,000, right?
that. Yeah, I
Always
know.
round it up, so.
Okay, well, I'm not to 40.
And I think I prefer Pat's idea, again, if I'm understanding it right, which
Yeah.
is just like, no, don't even give a choice, just shunt over. It's like if you're gonna do
Mixed use.
mixed use, you're under the MBTA zoning.
And don't prohibit it in the CBD.
Yeah, because
But
otherwise.
I wouldn't want to get rid of it in the business district though.
No. Yeah, I think that's right.
So, Pat, I'm trying to refresh my memory.
Yeah.
So within the MBTA
Mhm.
and allowing mixed use,
Yeah.
there's no like area requirement, right? It says it's only can be on the first floor, but it doesn't even have to be the full first floor,
No,
right? So
it's
whatever
just-
they find for their,
It sounds like it's limited to the
Yeah.
maximum number.
And
of
Non-residential use shall be located only on the ground floor of the front facade facing the street or other public space such as a public park, plaza, or sidewalk. So we're not,
so if they did a small, like 800 square foot tiny little thing, that would count as mixed use?
technically the way it's
And then they
written,
could
though.
put
Yeah.
2 apartments on the first floor?
Well,
or
no, there's no
something?
apartments allowed on the first floor.
Okay, all
Uh,
right, so effectively, it's like.
So basically,
Yeah.
you have
It
one
has to be
giant
that.
unit on the bottom floor, and then you have 44 more units
Okay,
scattered above it, I guess.
Yeah.
so, okay, no residential allowed, okay, so it's basically what we have then.
Where's this
Yeah.
at that? Sorry.
Section 16(7). Although something like that could be further, I mean, this is where it gets a little bit complicated if we could want to further regulate that. And this also goes back to what we initially talked about the commercial only order.
Right,
If we do that, then we are going back to the kind of the drawing table on
Yeah.
the MBTA,
Yeah.
which does open kind of a can of worms, because then we have to go back and make sure we're still in compliance.
yeah, check all the numbers, yeah.
Sorry. I do think I might be dense. Like, I do see the rule that says non-residential has to be on the first floor. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing anything that says residential can't be on the first floor.
Well, that goes back into the mixed use, but.
Yeah, but it should be its own section.
No,
I think,
yeah, you're right.
Within the MBTA.
All right, John.
Which also, I mean, that could be, like, honestly, like, I'm thinking about my building.
Yeah.
Like, there's way too much commercial space. If you don't like having an extra floor on that, if they could have had some of the, like, there's an.
Apartments
Yeah.
on the first floor.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
yeah,
But the scenario that you mentioned, Sarah, too, that's also something that's kind of a little bit concerning, right? 'Cause
Right.
someone would be like, yeah, here
they
you go,
threw
there's
in
an
a
ATM,
closet
right?
and
Is that-
said, yeah, there's our commercial, and let me go up a whole nother story.
And this would be a Crowley question in
Yeah.
terms of,
Yeah,
what we classify.
yeah. I mean, we could add a separate requirement in terms of percentage of ground floor space
Well, the
or
other
something.
thing is, what point, there was a point where it triggered additional building codes or whatever, depending on the height he was talking
7
about.
stories.
Oh, it's over
Is it
70
higher
feet.
than that?
Yeah, it's
Over how many feet?
70 feet?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
60 is not.
Nothing that
okay,
we-
okay.
Yeah.
And Pat, again, like, this is kind of I don't know if you'll know the answers, where it says like the the maximum units per acre, the 45 for the central core and the 20.
Yep.
Like, do you have like a basic idea of like what we could picture in our head for that? Like if somebody, like, is that Brookline? Is that like Somerville? Like,
I can show you images. Yeah,
Yeah.
when we did the whole,
It's less than what we have now, basically.
oh really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
for a lot of parcels.
yeah, I mean, so I want to say, so your building itself is probably something like,
Oh yeah, that's
your
got
152 units, that site is probably maybe a little over 2 acres.
Which is this one? Which
Liberty Station.
Liberty Station. Yeah, mine's east and Elm.
So, I mean, if you're thinking of it like that too, so I mean, I don't know if it's actually 2 acres, I could probably take a look at the
Yeah.
assessing, but I mean, that's, what is that, 75,
That sounds about right.
around 75
Yeah.
dwelling units an acre, so that gives you an idea, that building is,
That makes sense.
yeah.
So my building could just barely have been built under this.
Well, it'd have to be less units.
Is 75 units, you said? Or-
So no, I'm saying, so your building is 152
152,
units.
yes, it would.
And I don't
yeah, so
know
we
off the
would
top
not
of my
have
head
been
the
built.
size of the parcel itself, but let's say the parcel's 2 acres.
Yeah, that
Then
sounds
you'd
about
be,
right.
yeah, at 35 only it's an acre, it'd be well over what would be
Interesting.
allowed. And like,
I have your building.
95
calculator.
West is also something like that
Yeah,
too.
'cause
Like
I
like
did a
something's
little
like
game
70,
on my,
80 something dwelling units an acre.
Let me find it.
Yeah, it's a huge, it's a lot of units in a small
For
city.
people to guess the density,
Yeah,
yeah,
So,
but, I'll
it's
find
definitely
it.
dense. I've
Yeah.
looked into that.
I do wanna, I mean, like, this is the hard part with trying to figure this all out now. I do wanna make sure we kind of go through the whole table and then kind of go back to a little bit of how I'm starting to structure it. Going along with this too is also the other subsections of 5, which some of those are kind of easy. It's really the earth removal one, which Jim and I have been kind of working on and tweaking with, that we need to kind of bring to y'all. Everything else is really kind of goes back to like, you know, what was it, temporary uses and enclosed uses. But why don't we just start to go over business, if that kind of makes sense. So this section right here, this is the whole home use section, or home occupation section, which would default as a, I guess, an accessory use.
63.8, according to my
Oh, wow.
calculations.
That's a lot.
So, just some numbers, based on the central core, 45 units per acre. Assuming an acre is roughly 4,000, it's gonna actually go bigger than that. A 90% coverage for the lot would be 36,000. So that'd be roughly 200 by 180. If each floor is 36,000, then you could put 11 units in it, because you could have 4 floors above the ground floor.
Mhm.
That would still give units of 3,300 square feet, which is pretty big.
That's huge.
Yeah. So you'd have to really factor in, do you wanna build a bigger building?
This one
If
is
you
on
have
Main
bigger
Street, it's
units,
like
is that more
43.
cost efficient, or build a smaller
Wow.
building with,
Something
That's
that's sort of
Right.
amazing, yeah.
So that's where it kinda
But
comes-
that's still
Yeah.
giving some very big buildings.
Wow.
Really big
True.
units to play with, yeah.
43.6.
what parcel were you looking
That's
at?
fascinating.
I was just taking a hypothetical 1 acre lot.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
says you
It was
could
like
have
the spring of
45.
24.
I
units.
I remember.
Yeah.
I
The
remember
first
seeing
floor you're
this.
saying is commercial,
Yeah.
okay, you have your 1 commercial unit.
Yeah.
Whatever, at least 44 units, you can divide into floors 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
11 per. Divide 11 into roughly 36,000 square foot floor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's like 3,300.
And that's kind of, I think that's kind of like if you look at, I guess like Toll Brothers, right? So Toll Brothers is a 4-acre site, but I mean, the type of development, they have to figure out what's more cost efficient or what's more profitable. So like you said, building a 1 acre, having a 1 acre site and putting 45 units on a, having, you know, what's it,
Yeah, it's a
3,200
huge
square feet,
apartment
yeah.
building or a
No,
condo building,
yeah,
but yeah.
you don't see dwelling units you don't see
Yeah.
apartments that size, so you'd probably have to be like, all right, well, that's not the best use of the land
Mhm.
from a profit standpoint, and it would make either a smaller building or they
Smaller
would do
buildings, yeah.
townhouses or something
So
like
if you,
that.
and once you get down to smaller buildings, you have access to the deal with it. And that doesn't factor in parking, of course, either.
Yeah.
Right, which it would.
But you could have it structured.
Parking would count as commercial use, would it?
No.
What,
No.
Not officially.
what if they force the attendants to pay for the parking?
Well, most kind of do.
Yeah, mine
Um,
does.
yeah.
When I signed my lease, I had no option. They said like you have a
So if
$100
the
parking
bottom
thing.
is a paid parking lot, is that considered a commercial use?
No, I mean, so when we did the permitting for, I'm thinking of Union Station, and I'm thinking of it like that. I mean, I wasn't here for it, but I know that they had to really make the commercial space fit. They didn't get to count the parking though as the commercial space.
Are you asking about like a standalone?
Yeah, if you
parking
made the
garage?
first
Yeah.
floor a parking garage.
Yeah.
Run by the condo commission.
Yeah.
So you're paying yourself to park there in a way.
But like people, the public could come in and also pay. You're talking about.
I suppose that'd be possible too,
Yeah.
But parking is better under the MBTA than CBD.
It's less, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's another thing
More-
too, yeah.
more representative of
Closer.
what we need and what makes sense, I think.
Yeah.
So that would be another positive for,
Just defaulting to that.
yeah.
And I can try to work on that language better. And yeah, it gives you something to kind of see what I'm thinking in my head, and how I should look, and then I can run it by council. Cause I don't wanna do that at, like, and just all of a sudden realize
Right.
we left something open
Right,
ended.
right, right.
So I
Yeah,
wanna
we have
make
to
sure we
think carefully
cover
about
that.
everything.
Kind of, so I know we went over that, and I do have comments for that from last time, but I just wanna make sure we kind of, try to get as much done as we can in the next hour or so in terms of, finishing out review of the table itself.
Mhm.
And what I had sent to y'all was a just initial draft from our consultant that's doing the commercial industrial study on some of their recommendations and some of their kind of thinking when it came to the use table dealing with business in particular. The way I guess to look at this is, there's the existing CBD, highway business, LM industrial as it is now, and then there's the recommended changes, and then the key change to implement. I don't know if anyone had any kind of thoughts or looked through that. Off the top of my head, I mean, I'm not really prepared to go all throughout it, but I mean, I'm happy to kind of.
I support the intent of, you know, moving things to like, consideration under site plan review and versus a special permit.
Yeah.
Like where appropriate, like I think that's a good move
Mhm.
for us, but I haven't gone through like
Yeah.
all of them exactly, but in general, I like that idea.
And a lot of the kind of the big things, and these are more kind of like, editorial, was we have a lot of language to describe something that could be summarized in 2 words. And you'll find that for most things. So like that's what I got kind of like from his recommendations in this as well, and some of the kind of looking at other towns. Just trying to find a way to better summarize and then either include the definition or, to update our definitions as well. That's also needed, but, would need be, also have a separate section that kind of moves all that additional regulation. And so when you say, let me just give you an example. Oh, this is a whole other one we gotta talk about, but. Alright, open display of goods, so that's down in BB, so like, all this additional criteria, is there an easier way of saying that, and then just also defaulting to, a separate section, so like, if we open display of goods, and then kind of have a, pursue and intercede a different section, and we kind of get that premise by now, and so that way it just tries to remove the clutter within the table, so you just see it and then you know to go and review in a additional section. I'm gonna go through my initial comments instead of bouncing around too much.
Question, Pat?
Yes.
So when it comes to, so like for the small format retail or restaurants, where
Yeah.
we're taking what's now just allowed by right and adding the site plan.
Sorry, are you talking about the, you're talking about what they,
The
consultant
proposals.
provided?
Yeah. Do you have a sense of what that represents to applicants in terms of time and financial cost?
So I don't know if I also agree with everything that's written here too, that's why it's in
Yeah.
draft form. So I don't think site plan is really, it only kicks in if it meets the criteria for site plan, which is would be new construction, and it would be, you know what I mean? So if
Right.
it's someone going into an existing space, that's a by right use, that wouldn't have any additional
Right.
review beyond that. I wouldn't recommend that at least, and I
Yeah.
don't think.
Mhm.
So that's why I think like some of when you included the site plan review, I'm not sure if that's really overkill or not
It
necessary.
seems like overkill to
It
me.
seems like, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking it's a step towards trying to create something that will put some limits on what a building looks like, or to make it look more walpole rather than non-walpole.
But for a new building, yeah. But
Yeah.
if somebody's going into an existing
It's gonna be,
building,
they have to stay
like,
within there anyway, so. you
yeah,
can't
that
really
might be
change that.
cost prohibitive
Yeah.
of like saying,
Yeah.
well, you have to like redo your facade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't wanna.
And
do
that's,
that.
yeah. I mean, I know some towns will like have a limited process for reviewing signs. As you, and I know Norwood does that, and that's kind of almost like a rubber stamp thing that new person comes into downtown, it's a, limited site plan review for reviewing the sign, everything just has to meet a certain square
Yeah.
footage.
Mhm.
But they use it as an opportunity, kind of like, oh, what do you do, where are you from?
Yeah,
What
it's
do you
a, it's a
provide?
rubber stamp until it's not.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
time and money that people have to,
Yeah,
especially when people have to put down
yeah,
any sorts of loans or bonds before they're even going through any of this process. It's
Yeah.
like, I kinda don't wanna put people through unnecessary time.
agreed,
Mhm.
no. The signs aren't cheap,
No.
even if you think they look cheap, they're very expensive.
No.
Yeah.
No. But, so I'm just gonna, maybe it would just be easier just to kind of go through my comments. So I know we got this document as well. Just something to kind of review and have in the back of our head. And then maybe some of this can kind of start to also come out in terms of the, like solar energy systems accessory. Add explicit by right accessory solar across districts, keep large scale under overlay with standards. So, I'm sorry, that's
We're
not,
under
that's
the
not in that,
business, where are we?
I'm talking about, the thing that the consultant
Oh,
gave.
okay.
What
So-
does EJ stand for?
Environmental justice, which is, like, honestly, I have a hard time defining, but,
In terms of how the state looks at it, and it's usually based upon, percentage of, it's a few different things. It can be income related, it can be, English second language, it can be minority districts, so it's like, it's a ways district of it. It goes by like, precincts, essentially, that's how they kind of like, the state will define or look at them and label it whether or not it qualifies as an EJ district.
and it triggers increased environmental protection requirements.
Alright. So, sorry, I'm kind of bouncing around, guys. That's on me. But just looking at the table, I guess what we have on the screen now, going through the comments. I had an initial comment with, when it comes to retail sales services greater than or equal than 20,000 square feet. My initial thought is should both be by right within CBD and business. Whether I don't think it would be utilized, I think, I don't see the need to make it a special permit within business or not allow it in CBD. And my reason with the CBD is, well, what if the situation arises and there's a grocery store? Does that qualify as meeting retail services? And that may.
Sorry, which letter is this, Pat?
This is
For
for
city.
city.
Okay, great, sorry.
And it's not allowed?
It's not allowed in the CBD and it's a special permit within business. The business,
CVS has one of that, doesn't it?
and that's, yeah, but I don't know when that was permitted and what they classified
Well,
that
that
as.
used to be AP, so it used to be a
Yeah.
grocery store.
There used to be a grocery store there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That could just be a grandfathered use then.
Yeah.
I just
Which
didn't
one?
know.
Which
The
one?
CVS.
CVS used to be
Yeah.
AP.
It was the AP when I was growing up.
Yeah.
so
So
That's
just,
not that big, I mean, compared to,
oh, yeah.
Not the more modern ones, true,
Yeah.
but they didn't carry hardware and such much, it was more of a grocery store.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a deli, they had a meat counter,
Mm-hmm.
just had that.
so Patrick, is it recommended that we put in the special permit and SPR in the
Sorry.
chart? Or is this just for us to look at?
This just to look at for right now, just because I don't want to confuse things.
Right.
I'm just gonna, I want to provide that as something that's, their initial kind of like review with, they're looking at a few different things, and this is this document from MAPC. But for the purposes of tonight, I think it would just be good to just go through where we left off in terms of the use table.
So you're thinking that we should make that allowed?
I would consider it, or at least, I would like to hear what people's thoughts are on that. I mean, maybe that could be a conversation with, why is that not at least a special permit in the CBD as
Yeah.
opposed to not allowed?
How
I would
big is
think-
20,000 feet?
That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out, like,
Yeah,
I
that's-
looked up how much CVS is usually.
Mm-hmm.
I got an answer around, average like 11 to 15,000 square feet.
Yeah. Like
And I
20,000
think that's.
large.
Seems, yeah, so
So what,
20,000 in the CBD, yeah, that does seem too big
Yeah.
for our CBD.
Uh,
If the if
Well, you know,
CVS.
bigger we allow it, the less residential units are gonna be down there, right?
True. I mean, I guess the thinking against it would be, is that cause of use that has, I mean, right now you technically don't need commercial
10,000
parking.
is a
So it's
hundred
not
by
like you need to provide additional parking for such a large use, but if you do have a grocery store, people are, a flagship is gonna want parking, so does that create a larger,
Let me look up
Larger
Trader
issue.
Joe's.
Yeah.
How much is Trader Joe's? Or like Brothers in
20,000 square feet would be roughly
Medfield.
140
Yeah.
by
Like, we should allow
140.
something like that.
that's kind
Which
of what I
one?
was thinking.
The Brothers,
A small,
Yeah, but that's,
Grocery store.
it's allowed anyways, right?
well,
Cause it,
we're trying to figure out what square foot is that?
Yeah.
It's
If
apparently
it's over 20, it's not.
So 20,000 square feet is apparently 4.25 full basketball courts.
it's
Okay.
a big, it is a large,
Like half an acre.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where does that really fit, if anything, other than like, 100 Elm Street's different, cause that's an existing.
Yeah, I
Existing
mean, I guess
space.
like would this count if you had like
Within
2 floors
Walpole,
each
yeah,
of
it's
10,000?
That's yeah,
That could
sometimes
be
you see that
okay.
in like more dense locations, if you have a 2-level.
The only place with really
New
size
York.
in central business is that CVS Plaza, I think.
Yeah.
The Stop and Shop is outside of central business, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
outside.
Um,
I'm fine leaving it as is, I just wanna bring it up as kind of a talking point.
I'd definitely be
well,
interested.
20,000 is 200 by 100, right? So that would,
yeah, or 140 by 140 or something, yeah.
That's not
Again, it
crazy
depends
big.
on the size of the frontage, the lot you can find too. Like we just said, there's not too many places you could put it, even if we allowed it.
You know,
If anyone knows the Brothers in Duxbury, that one is 20,000 square feet.
Is that located in their downtown?
It says it's in the historic district.
Oh.
So,
What type of?
Historic Duxbury.
the Brothers Marketplace, like a grocery,
Oh,
says it's in their historic district of Duxbury, Mass.
So that would be allowed downtown if, with special permit though.
You
Right
could
now
do
it's
that.
not
No,
allowed.
well, it would be allowed in business, it would not be allowed
Well,
downtown.
up, yeah, I guess,
right
up,
now.
up to 20,000, it would be
I'll
allowed.
tell you, a grocery store downtown probably alleviates
Oh, up to
traffic.
20,000, right, yeah.
Grocery
Yeah.
store downtown is needed.
That's, yeah,
Yeah.
very much,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
much
can
needed.
follow up too, I mean, this is my, I thought, I mean, looking, cause we don't have something that just says grocery store, how does
Oh,
Crowley
yeah.
define it?
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing as well, I mean, I mean, he looks at it as just, if he looks at it as retail services, then
Mm-hmm.
is that what we're
It's a
talking
little
about?
different, yeah.
It's a little different, I mean, I'll put a follow-up with,
I was surprised when I was reading that gas stations were allowed downtown,
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
in the city, and we had 4 of them when I was growing up.
Gas stations aren't allowed downtown?
No,
No.
I think I read that in here, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Fuel dispensary, it's not allowed in the CBD.
Two right down by Easton, Maine.
We used to have the Gulf station where, across from
outside of-
Conrad's, and then,
Hmm.
I forget what the station was, right where Murphy's building, we had the
Chris
Sunoco up.
so I'll talk with Jim how he defines grocery. If he says that this would be the closest relation to it, do we want to maybe at least change the CBD to be a special permit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll do that, where, rather than kind of.
I think that's an idea, because even though there's not much likelihood of being able to do it, if someone is willing to take the effort, we should probably give them a chance.
Well,
Because especially
you have it
with
as
all the new
recommended?
units downtown, being
Hmm?
able to walk to the grocery
My recommended was
store.
just make everything by right, but
Yeah.
but on your paper here, you had it, special
sorry,
permit.
yeah, no, I'm not on this one.
Oh.
Yeah, did we have this on this one?
On the
Probably,
chart there?
Yeah,
yeah.
no, he left it as not allowed in the CBD.
Well,
I mean, I'd also
But-
think.
But 10 to 20, yeah, why can't that just be allowed? Why
Yeah.
does that one need a special permit?
Actually, no,
am I
I
looking at the
think
one thing here? Because
Retail
it says
bid format.
special permit
Yeah, it's a good-
or
that's a
X
good one.
are not allowed, right?
that's now, yeah.
Huh?
So you're looking
That's
at
what it is
Form
now.
B?
But he's saying it
Yeah.
should be special permit. They're recommending it be a special permit,
They may have also just left that.
which would be
As
similar
in-
to what
Yeah.
we're talking right now, gives them a chance for it.
So I'll put that into here and say, so maybe if it's 20,000 square feet, and if that's how we would look at it as a grocery store, then change that to special permit. But then for retail services between 10 and 20, make that by right?
Yeah.
I would too.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So under 4B, changing that to by right, and then for 4C, if Jim looks at that as how he would look at a grocery store, we change that to special permit. As opposed to not allowing it.
Because
Well,
what are
if
they
you're
gonna
talking
do
about
in a
making
special
C
permit? They're gonna talk
special
about
permit and
parking.
Yeah, I mean, they're
They're
gonna,
gonna talk about flow,
fits the special permit criteria,
safety.
yeah,
I mean,
which is.
it's
The
kind of a
traffic is
waste.
gonna be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
what are they gonna,
Where are they gonna have?
No,
where the
no.
customers
how are they
park?
gonna make the town better by
No.
that process?
The only thing I could think of with it would, because it's within the business, like a special permit within business districts, because a lot of our business is surrounded by residential. And there could be some sort of thought in terms of, all right, does that fit into, is that gonna cause extra traffic, extra strain on the residential side?
Well, so.
But for the central business district, yeah, there's no real,
If Crowley gets an application
Mhm.
and he sees something concerning, I don't know, they're gonna do a axe throwing business, or I don't know, like
Yeah,
something that like makes him concerned, can
Extreme
he,
sports or something.
can he make the applicant do anything more, or like any other like review by a board, or
If
or
it's by
that's it?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Can if there's a
that wouldn't fit,
noise
that wouldn't fit under.
or a nuisance
retail.
concern, or he
it
has to.
depends, I guess, so I mean, it depends if it fits, one, into the noise nuisance, whether or not it meets thanks to general bylaws for certain things that we do regulate.
Yeah.
And then I guess if it's an axe throwing thing, like, there's that.
I don't know, I was trying to think of something that's like
So
unusual.
like, I mean, an
You wanna run
example.
Like
would
if
be-
it's a knitting place, like who cares,
So
right? Like,
you could have a place that's
Yes.
like, here's an example, so say it's like a place that, you know, they wanna do BYOB.
Okay,
And they want to be, you know, always open. That sounds like a bad idea, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna have somebody that, you know, but there's also different laws that kinda kick in that like would prevent something like that.
yeah,
Or
Yeah.
like different regulation, like in terms of like if you're gonna have BYOB, I don't know what that works with in terms of liability or what that works with with any like liquor license or anything like that.
yeah.
But like, you know, it wouldn't like, you wouldn't kick it to a board to review, it'd almost be like, you know, I know fire kicks in for a lot of things,
Regulations and
but
stuff.
safety as well as health.
Health.
So there would be other regulations that may dictate something like that, not so much that, hey, we're gonna review it from like the standpoint of like, what does everyone think about it? It's gonna be
Right,
something.
so it seems like if there were something very concerning,
Yeah.
that there would be state law or something that would protect us,
Yeah, likely,
that,
Can we ask town council that question, basically?
in terms of,
Like, in the world where we just make it by right, what Sarah was mentioning,
yeah,
like, what protections exist for nuisance, or are we kind of up a creek? Actually, like, axe throwing is a
Well-
good example to use. I
Well,
think.
again,
I
within
don't
this,
know.
we're talking about B and C, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
None of that's retail.
Mm.
They aren't selling things, they're doing something else, that's not a retail.
Entertainment
situation.
doesn't count as retail.
No, I don't think
No.
so. Well, retail services,
Be
if
service.
they were doing, I don't know.
Like a gun shop, maybe.
retail and sales services.
That's interesting.
That also comes back to how does Jim interpret
Yeah.
where it falls under? If that's not, he says it's
That's
more,
something to-
if it's closer to something else, does he look at it as in, well, no,
Yeah.
it's under this, not that.
right,
But I mean, I'm all for changing something like this, cause I don't think it causes any harm, at least within B, between 10 and 20. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not gonna,
yeah,
whereas at least, you know, C, I guess it would, you know,
Yeah.
it just, how is that really interpreted? What's the reason for not allowing that there, other than the fact that you don't wanna have such a big use taking up a lot of space? I don't really know the reason for that.
Well, I suppose like you just were talking, if you put something big there, that means there's 3 or 4 small ones that can't go there. And I think they'd rather have a variety of little ones than one big one.
True, but I'd rather have something than nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's also,
I don't know that it's my job to say, like,
Yeah.
one thing versus
Yeah.
three.
Like, okay, 10,000, okay, see that ground floor building there, all sorts of commercial over there.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it.
I mean, it would take a specific use, and that's where it
Yeah.
kinda comes into, like, does someone really think, hey, I want a 20,000 square foot retail service in a downtown in 2025? I don't know if that's really practical unless it's a specific niche, or if it's like, if it is grocery store, then
Which
that
is
is
why you
something
do the
that would
special
be.
permit process too, make
True.
sure it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
I feel like we can support that in the downtown Torrey grocery store specifically.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, like, if that's how Jim would say it, then I would think, at the very least, special permit, I'd rather make it by right, but I can
Yeah.
at least see
Yeah.
Yeah,
the process.
Yeah.
I think we wanna be as open as possible for something,
Yeah.
especially within the downtown.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean also just like thinking about what kinds of constraints special permit places on applicants. If somebody has the capital to build something at 20,000 feet, it's probably less of a concern than, you know, if somebody wants to build like a little restaurant somewhere and
Yeah.
get through that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But why do we need to encourage them to go to a neighboring town?
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
So, how deep is the property along Main Street downtown? Because to get something 20,000 square feet,
I don't think,
gonna have to be long and narrow, right? I mean,
in terms of just, like,
yeah, so like how
Yeah.
deep is it from the curb to the parking lot out back? How
Oh.
deep is
I mean, I don't think it's practical for that location,
Yeah.
so I think that's
For
a,
the actual
So where else
downtown,
would you
there's no
put it?
room to do
it'd be like
anything that.
it'd be like the CVS lot would be an example, or
Yeah.
it'd be like maybe 100 Elm Street is another example if that ever got redeveloped. I mean,
Yeah.
those, it really is only like minimum in terms of locations, cause
Mhm.
most lots don't really
Can
support
you
it.
show that, MBTA map again?
So like this is Elm Street,
Yeah.
and then this,
Those two would be the CVS lot, I
CVS lot.
guess, yeah.
so, yeah, when you really think
Well,
of
the
it,
biggest
unless you
thing-
expand the central business district, which even still, everything here is industrial and it's all wet, and then everything here is all, you know, residential, you really only expand it along 1A, which is the only kind of area that makes sense.
That's the bank.
This
Yeah,
may,
bank
maybe
is-
not.
There's really no place
There's
to
really
put
no.
something
That's
You're
it.
not gonna
Right.
fit it
Sure.
in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can allow it by right, it may not ever, it
There's
probably
no-
never be utilized, so,
Unless it's like they sell the CVS lot at some point.
that's also, yeah,
Or they combine,
Yeah.
Parcels.
Sure.
yeah,
but,
that's true. Which, yeah, we're seeing that now, right, in
Yeah.
terms of combining
Yeah.
parcels.
Pulte, yeah.
Just a little bit off, but,
Yeah.
we were in Portland, New York, upstate New York, and,
Portland, New York.
huh?
Is it Portland, New York?
Yeah, it's, up near Lake Scanally's, I think, Sandy Islands, no, Seneca, where we were, but
Yep.
anyways, they had angle parking,
Yeah.
but it was like opposite.
Mm.
So it faced in the wrong direction, so every vehicle was backed in. It was the funniest looking thing, but the more I thought about it, it made so much more sense
Yeah.
because it's a lot easier to back into the spot than it is to try to back out into
Oh,
traffic.
yeah.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it took me a few minutes as we were driving through the town and it looked different and I'm saying, what is going on? And then I said, wait a minute, they're all like backwards, but they all backed in and it made so much sense,
Yeah.
you know?
That makes
They
The
can
trouble
avoid
is,
It's
if
easier
you're
to
in
stop
traffic,
traffic and then back in than it is to try to back out into traffic, you know?
Yeah.
yeah,
I know it's more of a DPW
And-
question, but like, I like angle parking more
Yeah.
so sometimes in the right
Well,
situation.
I mean, and there was a lot of it downtown. I mean, it was a good sized downtown. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can get a picture of it, but it was really,
Dad
well, it
uses
depends on
angle
how
I said
much
that, huh?
space there is.
Well, think of like downtown Rentham, I mean, there's those angle spots.
oh, that's
It's
awful.
awful,
Driving
yeah.
through there and then people trying to get out and then you get the, you know, a club cab
Yeah.
pickup truck with the 8-foot bed that's sticking out halfway into the lane anyways, you know? Especially down near the, hardware store at the end, you know, so.
Oh, yeah.
But it was weird as anything, and I'm saying, gee, you know, that might work downtown here, so,
That'd be pretty interesting. I mean, you have wide enough roads,
yeah.
for sure.
This is a kind of random question.
Yeah.
Maybe the answer to it is like shelf for later. But I was talking to a bunch of downtown businesses recently who were complaining about parking.
Yeah.
And specifically, were wondering if there's anything that we can do to add time limits. Like a lot of people want like 15-minute parking because they think that people camp out. And
That comes to enforcement, and that's like a
Yeah.
thing where, like, do you put meters? Do you?
That's what. That's what. Like specifically, that's what these people were wondering. And like, I don't know, is that something we do?
I-
Not in this room,
Not
but
in
there'd
this
definitely be a select board, police.
Well, you'd have a
select
huge
board, yeah.
investment.
I think,
in that first part.
when the applicant for the restaurant at the Bank of America
Yeah.
went before the select board, the neighboring business, the Vincenzo,
That's what. Yeah.
yeah, so he went and he talked
Yeah.
to the select board about the parking and like, can't we do like, you know,
Yeah.
metered or some, I don't remember exactly what his comments were, but like, you know, the issue of parking and stuff.
Yeah.
And they said that they were gonna work with the police and maybe do a trial stuff.
Okay.
So I think that they're looking into this,
Yeah.
or at least that's what they said in the meeting, so
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Because it's, yeah, I mean, from the business owner standpoint, I get it, but then it also comes from the optic wise, if you're select board, you like, all right, now we're gonna impose this as well, and it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't make those decisions.
Yeah.
As a-
It obviously requires, okay, you need another policeman just to check all the meters or everything or something.
Yeah,
Or even if you just have the time to put on the, parking spots,
Mhm.
people ignore it all the time probably, so. but-
Oh, like how much do they ignore it? Like
Yeah.
if they like if
I
it
suppose
seems like
at
a
that
little
point,
bit of
you could just,
enforcement.
the
Yeah,
owners can call in and say, this car's been sitting here
For
for
a
2
day.
hours, yeah.
Yeah,
Can
Yes.
you get it towed or something?
yeah. I have noted like the same cars are always in the same spots on like Glenwood, for instance. Like when I come out of it, like people are using those as permanent parking spots.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to.
Yes.
The
Um,
same thing happens on Elm Street too. A
I'm
lot of
sure.
times you see the same,
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry that was a dog leg.
No, no worries, no, so I guess just moving on from that, so I have a comment on Alice Crowley, I would consider moving this as by right. I went through this today, the whole E apostrophe, I'm not sure what that is. It says to defer, it says to see Appendix B, Table of Amendments. Well, Appendix B is the list of the Table of Amendments, and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm not sure if they just threw that in there because they didn't want to add a different letter at the end and they didn't want to move everything down one. I'm not sure what the reasoning is.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, I would just, you know,
Can I make
Go
a
back to-
comment on
Yeah.
the one before?
yeah,
So vape shops and all these adult use things.
mhm,
So at the time when we passed this,
yeah,
I was against it. Mostly because of like how our zoning is laid out. There's
Yeah.
like a pocket here, a pocket there, a pocket there, a pocket
Right.
there. So I think the better way to do it is have like an adult use overlay or something. And figure out like where as a town do we want these kind of places, if we're going to allow them.
do we have,
We
I know
we don't have any overlay, but like, and there was an applicant who wanted to bring a marijuana something or other.
yeah,
And-
medical, or,
Yeah,
Do we
and
have to-
and I suggested like, they should like maybe spend the money and like
Yeah.
figure out like where to propose it. Because I don't know, it just makes more sense to me than have it be in like industrial, say, because
Yeah.
because of the way our zoning is, there's like industrial here and there, and it's all next to residential.
Oh, yeah.
So what are we accomplishing? So
That's a good point.
I just thought that would be a better way to go about it. I don't know if that's the work of this committee, but
no, I mean, that's, I mean, like,
I
a lot of our
suppose it's a
industrial too is like we talked about, like, a lot of it's wet, a lot of it's non-buildable, and I think if you're thinking, why do they do industrial?
Well, it was
Looking
all-
at, yeah,
Well, when the town was inhabited, we had 7 dams on the Neponset.
yeah,
So the businesses were all at the dams around, and
yeah,
they were off the main street or whatever, so, that's why you had the pockets of business here, and
Yeah.
like that, so it's tough to get at. I mean, you have to go through a residential area to get to most of them, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, all
I mean,
the
I guess if you were
all
to-
the industrial is next to residential.
yeah,
Well,
But it's
the other
all along,
thing-
if you notice, it's all really along the river though.
What you could
Yeah.
do
Neponset.
is, add another caveat or whatever. It's, okay, industrial, but it can't be within so many yards of a school, or it can't be so many yards of a church, or
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know.
something like that
Mm.
might limit it more,
Yeah.
but I don't think
the
we can do
vape
with.
weed adult district, which is just, you know, Walpole.
The fun zone.
Yeah, the fun zone.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, but at least 2 vape shops in Walpole now.
Oh, do we know?
3, maybe 2.
I don't know, there's
I don't
one
know.
up the end of,
There's one downtown. There's
Are
one
Are they
by
really that big
Dunkin'.
anymore? I mean, I feel like the vape shops went in there, that was like a big thing, which is
Yeah.
why they had to add that.
Right.
All over Cambridge, like
Yeah.
all over Cambridge.
right
yeah,
now when
downtown by the
they're
CVS
driving.
Plaza,
Yes.
Right.
one up by Jersey Mike's up in
Right, those
Collins
two.
Street. I don't know if there's another one or not.
So maybe it is only 2. Yeah,
Those are the only 2 I'm familiar with.
yeah.
So,
But anyway.
I know,
that's my
I know what you're
thoughts.
saying, I mean, it'd be easier to kind of just place it at like, and just to pick on
Surprise
the
people
Walpole
still using that stuff.
industrial park off of 1A.
Yeah,
Just create that as like the.
Yeah.
right.
The
That
fun
se-
zone, the
that
fun
seems
zone
a lot-
overlay district.
Working line.
That
Um,
seems a lot more appropriate than just, you know.
Yeah,
I
And
don't
it's
know.
probably similar to what a lot of other towns have done too. You
Yeah.
have an industrial park and you stick it there.
yeah.
Yeah, food for thought. But yeah,
Comments
let's get
on
rid
that?
of the E-Star, I'm for that. Just SRE.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, this is, I don't know. It's one of the problems I
Nice
have with this is I feel like we
marijuana,
just,
right.
it's just so much that needs to get done, and then you're like, oh man, how do I fit this into like an article?
Yeah.
so
But I'll put a note for this to remove the E, see, room for building supplies,
Oh,
or remove the star symbol.
oh, yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, my next comment was, so sales room for automobiles, boats, trailers, trucks, farm implements, machine, maybe that could also, again, the definition can also just be simplified.
Mhm.
But my comment was just making it by right in the highway business district,
Yeah.
as opposed to just special permit. We've had a lot of those, and I think that's where they go. I mean, I can see limiting it to special permit within LM and industrial and business, but highway business, I mean, that's,
Mhm.
I'm with you on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I know we also just from, we actually had one, yeah, we had one recently. I mean, it's definitely turned away a few people that have come in that have maybe looking to do used auto sales and trying to explain, well, you want the class 2 license, cause that's also a thing when you wanna do car sales. You need a class 1 or your class 2, and then you come to the town, it's like, well, you need a special permit first, and then you gotta do your class 2, and then that's also, that has definitely driven away a few people.
Yep.
Mm.
Um, I had another comment under H, which is restaurant or similar place for the serving of food or beverages only to persons inside a completely enclosed building, subject to the condition that no live entertainment is weekly furnished. And my question is, why?
Oh, that must be some story.
And what is what is regularly furnished? Is that every day, every weekend? I don't
Right.
know. What
Once
Yeah,
a month.
regularly is a little,
the condition that no live entertainment is regularly furnished. So I just get rid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, again,
No violins in the restaurant.
Yeah. Like,
There'll be no fun in Walpole.
yeah, you can't be loud. We don't want to hear it. So.
Well, it says regularly furnished, so you could do it 2 or 3 days a week. and
Right,
it's,
you could
know,
do it
different
Tuesday one
days, so it's
week
not
and then
regular.
Thursday the next,
Right.
therefore
Yes.
it's not regular.
Yeah.
well, I think that.
You don't
the reason
define
behind
regularly
that
though, so it's like.
Is to maybe rule out adult entertainment.
Well,
'Cause
I
that's
mean, you're not gonna have
basically
adult
restaurants or
entertainment
something.
in general, cause that's its own separate use.
Yes,
That would
but
be-
depending, but if you serving food there and they just come in the food and the waitresses are topless or something. That's, I agree, it's not Las Vegas, but that may have been why something like that was added in.
But, so you can have strippers not regularly?
Well,
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So
It's
define-
quarterly is when we have.
Define entertainment.
Yeah,
Actually, you know, Austin Airport, every
Right?
other
Do they
restaurant
have
has a
adult
live,
entertainment?
Like a,
one
Yeah,
man or
any
2 man
adult
band or something like
entertainment.
that.
Yeah, we
I feel
have
like that would be
that.
too
Right
much
in
in an
It's under
airport.
CC.
Huh?
I feel like that'd be too much noise in an airport.
You know, it wasn't that bad, they had them like stuck in the back corner, but it was good for the restaurant, but it
And
wasn't too
again,
loud
it's
though.
special permit in
the
industrial
corridors.
zone,
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
next to the residence.
Yeah.
So which
Okay.
one was that?
So we have an adult entertainment section.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
It's CC.
Yep. That was something I think we were legally required to have, and that's,
yes.
most towns have that.
The state requires it.
Yeah, and we decided to put that in the industrial zone.
Yeah.
Or anything we don't want.
Again, that should go in the overlay.
The fun zone, yeah.
The fun zone overlay.
That was a certain in Butter, where we had a case, put the 55 Summer Street deferred to that area as the combat zone, and I wasn't familiar with what that meant.
That's so
And I think
fun.
it's like a terminology that's like.
They used to call
decades and
Chinatown
decades.
that.
That's exactly what
They
it was.
used to what?
That's what they used to call Chinatown.
The
The combat
No,
zone.
it's just part of Chinatown. It was-
Oh, part of, sure.
I don't get it, why?
I don't get it
It
either.
was the red light district, and it used to be like fights.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's certain streets in there were just loaded with live nude dancing or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't understand the term. This was at a public hearing. Someone brought it up because, like, oh, they're gonna go to the combat zone and through the woods, and like,
That's
I
hilarious.
was thinking war, so I had no idea what they were talking. Like what?
Yeah. I don't know.
Older
I think Nashville has Printers Alley, I think.
Oh,
And all the strip clubs around that one.
well, I don't think we have to worry about them on Walpole.
No.
We should be good.
Yeah, but definitely we can shorten that, just restaurant.
Yeah.
How about just restaurant or similar?
So I think the way they have that is because we do have outdoor dining
Yeah,
elsewhere. So I mean, that's process is also allowed by right. It just requires a limited site plan.
right.
So, actually, there's a number of places that are breaking the law here, right? Because they have usually a one-man band in the corner. I mean,
Yeah.
Finnegan's every once in a while, and I think-
Trivia all the time.
Huh?
Trivia all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Consider that.
Well, is that
as well.
That's live entertainment?
I think
Is
this
that
is
that
a.
entertainment?
I'm entertained.
I think it's definitely something that was added in there at some point when someone's like, I
To
don't
stop
want.
somebody
Yeah, to stop
from
somebody,
something.
to make a
Yeah.
point it, and then no one's ever really reviewed it since. I've noticed this in a few other towns, and I think this is terminology that might be dated, but when it goes over the shop of a builder, cabinet, carpenter, maker, caterer, yada yada, but basically no more than 5,000 square feet. And same thing for printing, publishing. I didn't know if anyone had any.
Printing can be
No.
really loud. Because I
Sure.
used to.
Printing wheel.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but it's allowed as long as it's less than 5,000 square feet.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that was, if there's some legal reasoning behind that, because there's language further on within industrial that goes over something beyond 5,000 square feet.
Mm.
Well, there's a
Um,
difference between a small press and one of the big things that printed the papers, which
Yeah.
is huge. And
Yeah.
it wouldn't fit in 5,000.
No.
Maybe like number of employees, so if you had more space, maybe you'd have the
Machines or
noise like
something.
multiplied by whatever.
Okay.
I will say
Maybe.
these things are basically, they don't exist anymore. They all went out of business. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree.
when I was at the Crimson, we were one of the last like 3 in the state, and they finally closed.
What was that for, the what?
At my college paper, we had one.
Oh.
Yeah, but almost none do.
No. I mean, how big was your space too? Probably under 5,000, so
Yeah.
that's a good. Yeah, this is definitely antiquated language that, but I've seen it. in
Did
other
town
ta-
council mention anything about that?
I didn't talk to her about this one.
So we have, the only one we really have is
Well,
print
how
works
do
now,
we-
really, right?
We allow something like
Yeah,
this
it's a good
within the
example,
residence,
yeah.
don't
Huh?
we?
That's a good example. Yeah, that's under 5,000, I would think.
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
allowed
it's
in
a good sized
residential
store, but
district.
it's
No,
nowhere
but
near
we
5,000.
allow
No.
something like this out of a house
Oh,
also, I
oh,
think.
And actually, the equipment nowadays with printing,
I
takes
think
up
in the
lot
residential,
less
there's
space.
some
Yeah.
distinct
Oh, you mean like
stuff.
like
You can have.
Like an accessory
oh,
use?
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
like,
you can see a patient if you're a doctor in your house, sort of thing.
Yeah. Disproportionate dwelling.
well, this is typically.
No, I think it's right. It's right now.
You're looking at a home occupation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another one where I would change that literally to just say home occupation and then have the definition updated to reflect something that's more consistent with what our other towns have.
Mm-hmm.
And then going, the radio repairman, hopefully they'll be okay. But,
You see like cell phone repairs.
Just yeah.
that's true. So I guess part of me feels like it's not doing any harm, only for the fact that you do have weird situations that come up. It's like one of those things that's there that, it's not hurting anything. It's probably never going to be utilized, and if it is, it's.
Yeah.
Certain thing, like the builder's always is gonna be working out of a storefront or something,
Yeah.
in the business district or something, he's not gonna be working in something. Well, actually, we do have some landscapers, I suppose, they have little buildings and stuff now.
So.
But also, if it's antiquated and not used, like now is the time to get rid of it.
So,
Or right, so like that's the thing is like antiquated, not used, yes, but then like like Ed, you brought up like print works. does that meet the definition of print works? Those businesses still technically exist, or could that be better defined elsewhere? You know, would we consider that retail, and is that too open-ended to leave retail? Do we wanna have,
Well, I don't know.
like, I agree that it's kind of an antiquated thing, but it is also kinda like, I mean, I don't know, do we need to have some sort of placeholder for some use that exist? So like earth removal is like a
Maybe,
good example of like the way we have that in there. And it doesn't, it's for like quarrying, but it only existed because of really one person. And you can get rid of it, but then does that impact anything if that person goes to do any sort of changes? I don't know.
Yeah.
In this particular situation, I don't know if it's even really doing any harm, because it's not like it's a special permit for that use, it's allowed by right,
Yeah.
so it could probably be removed. I'll put a note on that though, I mean, that's.
So what happens if somebody had some sort of print shop? I mean, because a lot of them do screen printing and stuff like that
Yeah.
together,
Yeah,
so
well,
what if they
I
wanted
know
to go
this
more than
place-
5,000 square feet? It's
No,
not allowed?
There's at least one place.
I think it
There's
is
a place, there used to be a
in
place up on 27, I think,
industrial,
does signs and stuff.
that's where we get into. What is this? Guess I'm imagining it now. I don't know if it actually is here. Huh. Shopper builder.
Should,
I could have sworn we had that.
I mean, if it's not in there, should it be in there like, over 5,000 square?
Oh, here it is. So shop of a builder and printer. This is the one we were talking about for more than 5,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's allowed except for CBD is special permit and
Yeah.
allowed?
This is a good example of like, I would get rid of this. I mean, if you want to leave this in here for this particular use in terms of like LM industrial, and probably maybe highway business, but like, I wouldn't have this use in the business or central business district. I wouldn't want to prohibit uses, but I don't think that you get a lot of people that are trying to open up a, you know, a more than 5,000 square foot electrician store or business. Well, just, I guess going back to the page we were on, I had a question with,
So it's crazy the two are next to each other, like, right?
no, there, well, this one's
Because
determined
one's
as
considered-
business and the other one's an
Industrial
wholesale
or
or industrial. I don't know the reasoning on that either.
I think they should be right together when you're looking it up, because
Yeah.
sometimes you would go to that, then you would look any further, you know?
Yeah, in a way, what is the difference between 4 and 5? Is it just a limit, a difference of scale, or maybe like?
Yeah, I mean, the
this is-
wholesale
They
is
should be
do it for a little bit.
combined or more intermixed, like, okay, we have this less than 4,000, but you have to go to this section here if it's more than 5,000. Maybe they should be in the same section or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know the reason, I mean, maybe the reasoning
I'm
means
not
this
really
is
sure
more
why
like
they
a.
separated it out into business and industrial, wholesale industrial, unless they figured, okay, these are gonna be in the business area, and these are gonna be in the industrial area, and they're gonna be looking at different places, depending what they plan on doing,
Yeah.
maybe, but there may be a good reason, I'm not sure what it is.
Mhm. sure. So I guess, I mean, would you consider something like this? So I guess shop of a builder, carpenter, cabinet maker, whatever, this whole thing, reason would they have one that's beyond 5,000 square feet would probably be something that's doing like large scale production, which is probably why it's in
Bigger
wholesale.
machines potentially.
Yeah. And like if anything, like the printing one, for example, that'd probably be the only explanation. If you have that use still, it'd probably be more of a wholesale.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's still places that have the big print shops, but it's not something like a Walpole
Yeah.
anymore, because
No.
But that's probably a national thing that would, it'd just be a wholesale. They wouldn't be
Yeah.
selling anything in the
yeah,
premises.
Boston needs that, because Boston got, well, I think they still have a couple of papers being
Yeah.
printed there, they used to be
Yeah.
printers.
What was it?
So
what
are you guys, I'm trying to follow you, so you're talking about the industrial that allows printing or publishing shop more than 5,000?
I guess it,
Yeah,
The question is, why aren't they together?
Should they be together under the same category or something?
Oh,
You know, if you're looking
It's
at.
a question of scale,
it's,
apparently, one's
Oh, right,
more of
right,
a
right.
business, one's
I don't know.
one's.
One's a small business thing and the other one is like an industrial use.
Yeah.
I think I even said that.
So
Yeah.
maybe
I'd move this to the
reason
business,
for that.
business section. Facilities over certain square footage, see comment above. I think it was actually my comment on that too. I'm moving them to business.
Oh, you think so?
But the
Or I guess you could do
wholesale-
vice
Wholesale would
versa.
actually be not selling to the public or anything, right, so.
Yeah.
Well, it's
So it would be
wholesale,
just like a
comma,
manufacturer.
industrial.
Huh?
Wholesale, common, industrial.
That's a category, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wouldn't really be selling to the public, it'd be selling to other businesses, right, if it's wholesale?
Yeah,
Either way,
it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, it could just be
selling
industrial.
to- Yeah, they're not likely to be either one selling to the public, in
Hmm.
which case, that's probably why the parking codes might be different.
Yeah, I don't know, I think it's
I
okay.
don't remember what 5 is. because
Yeah.
it's right.
Let's just put a pin in it for right now, just so we can try to make a little more
Yeah.
work on this.
So, we're gonna discuss the restaurant there with the entertainment stuff and that, because that says only in a completely enclosed
Yeah, we talked about getting rid of that.
altogether?
Getting rid of
Right.
the subject to the condition that no live entertainment is regularly
Right.
furnished. I don't think that's, like, that part of that is needed.
I mean, so you couldn't have the adult entertainment unless it was in the specific
Right.
overlay,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Or
that's,
whatever.
that's. yeah.
So, the only thing is, you could have music, but you don't want it to be detrimental to its abutters and neighbors, right? So, I mean, it's one thing having a folk music guy playing in the corner at a restaurant,
Yeah.
or a 8-piece band that's, playing acid rock or something,
Yeah, I mean, it's just, someone had a reason for putting that language in there, but it's very kind of ill-conceived and kind of not really enforceable,
Mm-hmm.
So like regularly furnished isn't defined, so somebody has a big band and someone complains about it,
Yeah, so
well,
it would have to
alright,
be
well, they gotta be quiet between 7 and 7,
Modified to
so,
some degree.
or not 7 and 7, but
Yeah.
they gotta close by a certain time, I don't know. And if it's inside the building, where it's outside of a building, I guess that becomes more of where it's a problem.
Special
It's-
permit, that's where the only ones on Main
Yeah.
Street that are outside.
Mm.
Subject to the condition that entertainment would be detrimental to the abutters, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Can I just, I'm just moving on.
Yeah.
I had a comment under office of a doctor, dentist, obstetrician, clergyman, lawyer, architect. Obviously, I think that's also something that'll probably be better defined rather than open-ended. I had a question of why is that not allowed by right in the industrial? And then I also had kind of a point of why do we have so we have a special permit for allowing it in the GR, But we also allow something similar to, as a home occupation, so do we wanna
Right.
allow a business to that extent in the GR, or should it just be
Yeah,
limited
because
to
typically
an
if it's in the
occupation?
GR, they're working out of their house or something.
Yeah.
Like a dentist, I know when I was young,
Mhm.
our doctor worked out of his house.
Yeah.
I went to his house to get vaccines and vaccinations and stuff, yeah.
I guess I would rather see this limited as like a, if we already allow this as a home occupation in the general residence, we don't want a full
Right.
scale
I agree.
business, so could that be kind of like, I would just have it not allowed in
Yeah.
default to.
Why have it take the place of the
Yeah,
house?
especially if they
Yeah.
don't live there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Because they don't live on the premises.
Yeah, so yeah,
right?
real estate,
So especially with
not
that,
a
I would
resident
say
of the premises
X.
or group. Yep, so I just make. And then my other one was just, why do we not allow this at all in the industrial? And I guess I could see the reasoning for it. I also, I think industrial's changing to some extent because we don't really have the type of industrial we have. And if you do
Mhm.
have kind of like a, again, I went Walpole Industrial Park, just to bring it up again, you do have those like, kind of flex space where, there's a church down there. I mean, like, there's a storage place for files, so it's like, all right, if a lawyer wants to set up shop down there,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah, and how about the
originally might have
over
been-
55 stuff that's in industrial? Like, why can't they have a lawyer
Yeah.
near their house?
Yeah.
Or like, why couldn't, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think the reasoning was because when this was in, it was probably like, well, we got big trucks and we got big manufacturing, but we
Right.
just
Got
don't
lots of
have
dust
that
and
anymore in
dirt
our
and
industrial.
everything. We don't want a doctor's office near the old dirt beach up there, but
Yeah.
nowadays, I don't think.
I think-
it's-
You suggesting we allow it there?
I would say
Yeah.
allow it there,
Yeah.
only because I think that a lot of industrial that we do have is just,
Well,
it's just changing.
Industrial place might want a doctor close by.
True, yeah.
Work accident, right?
Yeah, like office of a clergyman, that's a,
If nothing else,
Yeah.
tell them about a decent price or something down there.
yeah. So allowed by right.
Yeah.
Alright. Moving on.
Do we really want a funeral parlor in the general residence too?
Well, we're getting rid of that, so we're gonna, I thought we were gonna move it as,
Oh.
not allowed in general residence.
Yeah.
Or the funeral parlor?
This
Right.
use in general, use of a doctor office.
he's talking about the next line.
Oh, sorry, jeez,
I thought,
I hear ya.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought we were done with that one.
sorry
So-
about that, yeah, no.
So it's not, all right, so the one you just said, it's not allowed in the GR, but it will be allowed in the industrial.
Well, the
Yes.
thing is.
But the next one, yeah, do you
two
wanna
big
get rid of
ones in
funeral?
Walpole are in GR.
Yeah, in the general.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that could be a nuisance to neighbors, 'cause
I don't think there are a lot of
End of the day,
funeral homes
traffic
popping up,
in and
but,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, but aren't they both in GR right now?
the existing funeral homes.
Or is that coded something differently on, still?
On Common Street?
School and Common, yeah.
I think the one over there is actually GR.
Is that GR, are they both GR?
I wanna say that's Delaney, yeah, GR.
That's the only thing I'm thinking, they're both already in GR.
Yeah.
We're making them non-conforming by changing
That's
that.
true,
And historically, people live in, most undertakers live in the building usually.
yeah. But this one doesn't have anything to do with living in there. This is
Yeah,
like
I'm just
simple,
saying,
so, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're both in GR.
And we could leave it, I mean, it is one of those things that I don't really
Yeah, it
think
doesn't make a
people
lot
are
of sense.
breaking down the doors to open
Yeah.
new
The
funeral
very
homes
fact
anytime
is-
soon.
Yeah.
They're already there.
And besides that, they're not conforming
And the
existing,
one on one A
so,
was in GR
right,
too.
No, yeah.
Or was that something, no, that was in GR.
But should we make it allowed
One
in
in Toll
industrial,
Brothers used to be
or
in-
no?
Also, does this include crematoria?
That's a good question. I don't know if this does include crematoria. I don't even know if we actually have that defined.
Would that, yeah, how would that react?
Let me,
Ask the question, I guess, yeah.
So I mean, like, that's a good example of like, do you allow that, do you prohibit that, do you have it as its own separate use?
Yeah, 'cause
It's also, I mean, yeah, I don't see anyone knocking down the doors to do this type of thing, but at the same time,
We could look at Brookline.
The
Brookline
thing with
has-
the crematorium, there is exhaust. to
Yeah.
deal
Yeah.
with, yeah. I don't know what the requirements, I'm sure the health department. would
yeah, oh,
have
yeah,
some things
for
to
sure.
deal with, But
Brookline has one
you
right.
probably
on
don't
the
want
track.
it, something to have a chimney with ash coming out.
well, I think they have to keep the ash, you know, that's a little bit nicer.
So we X that out?
The thing is, we don't think we can really, because
What?
the two in town that are in GR right now, we can't really say, we're making them non-conforming by doing change.
No, they're not conforming, existing, so.
No, well, they are right now, because it's allowed by
I
special
mean, I
permit.
would,
So if they're allowed under special permit right now, so they're conforming. If
Yeah.
you change it to X, they become non-conforming, and they could have trouble selling it again.
Well, it's existing, right?
yeah, that's true,
It's existing, as long as he's open, he's not closed for 2 years, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
if someone buys it, they're likely to go the same route.
It's probably gonna stay with
Well-
families for quite a while,
Yeah, the delinquent's gonna keep that forever.
at least one more generation.
Yeah.
The trouble is, the one across the street, they might be willing to sell, just because of the conflict of having it right next to, across the street from each other.
Well,
So, employees instructed. So this is another one, so going to N on the next page. Again, a bunch of language that could probably be better defined, and I said professional service establishment, which is probably better than
Right,
whatever this is.
yeah.
Coin operated or self-serving dry cleaning establishment.
Do we need a millinery
We still
shop?
got a couple of those.
A Milner. I'm not sure what that is.
I think that's hat makers, I think.
Oh.
The haberdasher.
how about the
What's
hat
that?
repair
No,
shop,
you're right,
the
that's a hat
typewriter
repair.
repair shop?
Oh, they got the
Milner is
typewriter
closed.
repair?
Yeah, right down the very last one.
You know, I've been meaning to get the typewriter repair.
There's a guy in Chronicle,
Typewriter
Yeah.
You know
repair
what?
shop.
I think there was a guy in Chronicle a few months ago that is a typewriter, I think he was retiring at a typewriter
Oh.
repair shop, and
Sure happy.
he really does well.
He did
does.
wait, I think I have one, yeah.
Yeah,
Guy
so
who
you're
used to
thinking
live
to
next
just
door to me
change
repair
Huh?
typewriters.
something in the definitions.
Guy who used to
Define
live
it
next
as-
door
Yeah.
to me repair typewriters.
Professional
Oh, yeah.
service
Yeah.
establishment or
Sure.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's back in the eighties.
Agree.
Which also kind of goes back to, because we have retail and service establishment, so is this even necessary?
Right,
Or,
yeah,
It would have to be cut so wide ranged, because there are some odd combinations in here.
so this is, the next one's P and Q. These are, have always been kind of a point of contention / confusion between me and Crowley in terms of trying to understand what the purpose of this and the meaning of this.
the 1,000,
This is the balance, yeah, so anything following is.
less than 1,000 and more than 1,000,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
almost,
that's-
And also, this is like directly contradictory, because it says the regular furnishing of live entertainment.
ah.
And this is a new section that we added.
Yeah, which is allowed, yeah, the regular
What is-
furnishing.
oh, yeah. So over here,
They didn't
it's
fix it.
specifically like, except.
Yeah, and it's either or, you can be in a district with less than 1,000,
Right.
more
They
than
only
1,000, you
have the
still
entertainment
have,
outside.
yeah. Oh, man.
They have to wear their coats in the winter when they're strumming their banjos.
So, I would almost get rid of this and look at it in terms of like outdoor dining area as an accessory use to a restaurant,
Right,
and then just move that to an accessory uses section.
yes,
And same thing with the drive-in aspect.
Yep.
So
yes,
the regular furnishing of live entertainment, sure, I can put that also as it's an accessory use to a principal use.
mhm.
In the bowling
As,
alley.
as an allowed use.
As an allowed
Right, or
use.
you're think, no special permit,
No,
Mhm.
okay, yeah,
no.
yeah.
which ones do have it? So like the drive-in is one where we could probably have additional use regulation for that. So like
Well, they're
things
not
in
doing
terms
the
of
site
like,
plan.
you would wanna be like, alright, so you need to have a bailout lane, you need to have a queue that doesn't extend beyond like 10 cars, you need to have
Cause I know when,
some sort of,
Dunkin' Donuts did
yeah,
theirs up on the line.
it was a special permit.
They had to come before us, cause
Yep.
they were changing the flow of traffic and
Yeah.
everything.
And I don't necessarily have a problem with leaving that as a special permit. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are on that, only because, I mean, if you better well, this is kind of goes to the whole you do and you don't, where, I mean, yeah, I can totally see just make it by right, as long as people meet a certain, you
Yeah.
know, thing, but does that also kind of, it's really just kind of a choice for us. I mean, you could go that through every single one and make everything by right, which I don't totally disagree with on the premise, but it is also kind of something where you gotta pick
Yeah.
the stuff that works and what could be something that you can just regulate better. And then,
Right.
yeah, if there's a check and balance to it, so, alright, yeah, you allow that use, but you won't have a drive-in, but I don't know, maybe the location doesn't really fit.
How well defined are the rules around drive-ins right now? Just
Not.
Not.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's where I go back to, like, if you have, like, if you add this to the accessory use section and then say pursuant to section whatever, then you can have that whole, you need to meet this, and
Under
this.
site plan, you're thinking, or what? Where would it be? Who would be reviewing it?
Well, the use itself, you can make as a special, if you have the use itself, the accessory use as a special permit, it goes back to the dilemma of like, alright, well, if they're building it, then do they go to two boards at the same time now? And then you have that problem of going to like the
Yeah.
zoning board, then going to the planning board.
Actually, yeah. How does so like if you wanted to build a restaurant and a drive-through,
Yeah.
and like the restaurant is by right, but the drive-through isn't. Like, would you be able to build the restaurant while you were still waiting to get your
Yeah.
drive-through done?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
As long as you're prepared to change your plans if you don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
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 Or ripping off the drive-through.
Yeah.
If it's allowed.
Patrick, if we go back up here to P, any of the following uses?
Yeah.
If located in a business district, should it be other than a residential district?
If all uses.
Oh,
Or just take out
Or
there's
located in
PS.
business
Or is this
district.
aimed at
Because
some
it-
business?
There-
Were
There's
these two sections
PSRC,
aimed at
which is
some
not
business?
residential and not business.
I don't, so these sections,
Yeah, but why would
my,
it say business district there? Cause you'd almost think it was
oh,
pointed just to B, right? I mean, I know the CBD and,
They're saying they're allowing everything,
so
everywhere, but
what I took from it is, I don't know if I have a piece of
I
paper.
think the area that's most affected is the central
So,
business. Where you don't
it's
have
not
that bit.
frontage that I consider, so I don't, again, this is really not, be me and Crowley having to kind of have a discussion on this, but like, I don't consider it as like, oh, you need 1,000 feet of frontage for this use. I see it as like, you have a district along a street, you got parcels along a street, and, if that district itself is all, highway business, if that is itself, that portion of it, 1,000 square feet, as opposed to if it's like, a portion of it that is less than 1,000 square feet, so it's like a continuous portion of a district,
Mm-hmm.
which, I mean, I get, this is just trying to interpret what it's saying, I don't like this language in general, because I
Yeah.
think it's just overly, I think the reason why they're doing it is because, well, if you have these type of uses, and it's like this node of business, alright, well now it's gonna be loud or excessive next to a residential district, whereas I don't know if that thinking is, I
Well,
guess, too in the weeds,
that-
really,
Yeah.
I'm trying
The
to.
buffer zone helps would take care of that anyways.
That's a great point, there's the buffer zone already, so.
Anything between business and residential.
Yeah, so if there's already a buffer zone, then why do I need to have this 1,000 feet of continuous district to meet certain uses as opposed to not? I don't know.
I can't think of all that many places which has 1,000 square feet of frontage.
well, not saying it wouldn't be frontage, it would be the district
Well, that's
itself.
what, I mean, it's,
That's my interpretation of
Oh.
it, is that it's not 1,000 feet of frontage of a particular
that, the
parcel.
1,000 feet of frontage refers to the business district, I mean, rather than to the,
Yeah, so
individual
the district, so they have a, where are they?
Oh.
As measured along the
thing. I've never really
street.
considered that.
So if I have the street, you know, if it's Route 1 and
Mhm.
there's a portion of it and it's highway business district for less than 1,000 square feet because you're next to a residential district, is that where they're kind of looking at it?
Oh, this is
in,
weird.
Yeah,
I can see where you're coming from now, yeah.
Um,
The wording kind of indicates that, yeah.
but that's where I kind of go back to, I mean, that, trying to interpret it's one thing, but then I also think it's well in the weeds. I can understand the intention of why they did this, but having the buffer zone itself,
Mhm.
you know, you can only do so much, and you have to look at what we're talking about here. We're talking about outdoor dining. Well, if I'm next to a, you know, a business district and there's a restaurant there, next to a place that has a restaurant, and that comes with that aspect. The additional separation of 1,000 feet, it's not like you're prohibiting it, you're just making it a special permit. Actually, no, for both of them, you're allowing it by right, so it really doesn't,
Interesting.
it doesn't even need that in general.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. I guess my thought on this is to just get rid of this section in its entirety and then have these uses. Well, I mean, you could have the theater, bowling alley, dance hall, or whatever you want, however you want to write that, and you can have that by right. But the other, you know, live entertainment, drive-in, outdoor dining, move them to accessory uses.
Yeah.
And then if need be, like, I think the drive-in you could probably better define
Yeah.
with additional use regulation.
Yeah,
That seems right.
and not have it be a special permit, just
Yeah.
define the regulations.
Depends if we want to go that route. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
you know,
I think that makes sense.
And
Yeah.
clarify the wording a little bit so that it indicates that the 1,000 feet refers to the district, not the.
no, I mean, like, I'm thinking of getting rid of that
Yeah.
language. That's my proposal or suggestion.
To make an accessory
So
use.
these whole breakdowns and the separation of like 1,000 feet of
Yeah.
continuous
I
area.
thought you were keeping some of that just for the bowling alley theater.
Well,
Or
the
you-
bowling alley, alright, so this language of a bowling alley, theater, dance hall, that to me is a principal use. You don't have a, you know, bowling
Yeah.
alley as an accessory bowling alley. I mean, you could if your house, but I mean, that's different. These other sub-uses, I guess, the whole outdoor dining, drive-in, and
Yeah.
regular entertainment are really accessory uses to
Something
a
else.
principal use.
Yeah, I can understand.
So they could be moved to the accessory use table,
Yeah.
but then have them really just, don't have them regulated by the 1,000 feet thing, just have them, you know, either allowed by right, because they're already allowed by right in both, regardless of the 1,000 feet, so it's kind of, they have this whole
Sure.
breakdown of like, hey, you need 1,000 square feet or less than 1,000 square feet, well, it doesn't really matter, they're all allowed by right, so just
Yeah.
put it as allowed by
The
right.
only difference was the.
Yeah, the only
For
one that
its
could-
own like primary use.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
one that's kind of like you could have a further discussion on is the drive-in, whether making that by right or having that as a special permit. And
Yeah.
either or, I would still not have it dictated by this 1,000 feet of road.
Which I think it makes sense to make it by right, although I think we would wanna better specify the rules either before.
I think we would
Well,
want to
I
see
think
it
the
or at the same
drive-in,
time.
you want special permit only because you wanna make sure that the traffic flow is not gonna impede the neighbors. Depending on how, so it's gonna be non-resident, not residential.
Well, I guess that's,
So no, you're probably right, it wouldn't.
yeah, I mean,
Much of an issue.
I'd probably also just have.
Well, that's not a drive-through, it's a drive-in.
A
right?
drive-in.
So it's, if you see, it says that people are seating outside, so they're bringing the food from inside to the people outside, so it's not a drive-through,
You're right.
right?
So like a walk-up window
Yeah.
is something I would totally just allow by right, I think that would
Yeah.
be. But under our bylaw, this is how we've had to,
That's true.
you know,
Like
review
scoops.
it. So I would break it up to, so, not to go back to, but MAPC had, they had restaurant with walk-up window, no drive-through, allowed by right.
Yeah.
Restaurant with drive-through, they said special permit, but keep discretionary review, add minimum on-site queue length and access control criteria.
So,
I mean,
why do we need a special permit?
Yeah,
That's not good.
I don't
So
know.
I'm just thinking like
Yeah.
Watson's,
Yep.
the ice cream, do you have to go with a special permit for that?
That's a walk-up window, right?
Yeah?
Yeah,
But right now, I mean, that's a
Well,
use
special
that already
permit, it
exists.
says right here, right, it's not?
Yeah, with a walk-up window.
Yeah, oh yeah, and this, yeah, right now, technically, you're right, if they were to come in new, because Rita's that opened up, they needed a special
The
permit.
yoga
I
place
had
up
no
I had
there?
no
Yes.
idea about
The
that.
yoga one?
Yeah.
Which is silly.
It's
Yeah,
very simple.
because they already had an existing drive-through. The
Yeah.
special permit was for the
It's
walk-up
nuts.
window. That was,
Oh,
Yeah.
was there a bank or something there?
I think it was a laundromat, yeah.
It was a drive-in?
Yeah, that was fine, but the walk-up window needed a special
I think
permit,
they-
because
Okay.
this is the way it was
they
written.
close with the
Yeah.
window.
So I would separate the two, walk-up window, absolutely allowed use.
Well, it says
Drive-in.
walk-up windows, not drive-through, right?
Well,
So,
Yeah.
drive-in, you're right, it doesn't say drive-through, is.
Drive-in
I suppose
standard for
it-
dispensing of food, beverages, goods from inside a building, including standing or seated outside, not even,
Yeah,
so you're
so
technically seated in a car.
if you're driving.
That's really what it's like.
The old time driving where you drive into a parking
Well,
space
it
and
could
get
be
served, you're not driving around
hop,
a
yeah,
lot.
like,
so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sonic or
Just
something.
coming in.
one of those
Yeah, yeah.
places. Yeah, or A&W or.
that's not a problem.
So, for
Then
the
three.
drive-through window, I'll try to get some criteria.
Drive-in.
Drive-in. Well, no, I'm changing it,
Oh,
I'm
oh.
changing it, so it's going to be the normal wording
Okay.
that everyone else uses. So like, restaurant with walk-up window,
It should be a drive-up.
restaurant with drive-through, or just drive-through window.
Yeah.
Because that could be, as we know, it could be dry cleaning, it
Right.
can get, or,
Yeah.
The pharmacy.
pharmacy, yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
one.
well, McDonald's, people
Do they
come
ever
in
get a
and they
special
bring the
permit?
food out too.
CVS for the drive-up window? I don't think so.
Yeah, they have one.
Huh?
They have one.
They have
I
one,
know,
Did they have
a special permit though, did they?
Oh, I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't-
think they did, cause,
I mean, how long
on the
they
planning
been
board
there?
when we did that, I don't remember,
They probably added it.
I don't remember
I
them
don't
coming
even
for
know.
a special permit.
You were on the board when when it
Yeah.
was new? Oh, really? When CVS
Well,
was
when
put
they
in?
rehabbed, when they rehabbed.
Oh, from the
Yeah, 'cause they
ANP or
changed
whatever
that
it
over,
was.
so-
That was up, that was the most disappointing
Oh,
result out of everything that I was on. And,
yeah.
I hated that, they were so hard to work with, well, the landlord there.
Yeah.
They're trying to
And then I was saying to Jim about the parking lot, can't you
Oh.
do anything, go fine him or something like that, cause you're supposed to keep that parking lot.
I
The
think
free
I've
for all
had
when you
Jared
go
It's,
talk about that.
it's nuts.
The issue
Huh?
is,
It's nuts in
the
there.
person who owns it
Surprised
recently
nobody's been
died.
killed.
His son owns it now, and it's just reaping in money, it's the land, so.
They own a lot
he's not
of
gonna
thing from
interest
New
in
York or
doing
something, isn't
anything
he, or
interesting.
something?
Yeah, he's not a local anymore, I guess.
So the
Okay.
next section, I know we got,
Well, number 4 contradicts what we were talking about earlier, doesn't it? The P4, the regular furnishing of live entertainment.
Yeah,
in
we
a
were just talking
restaurant Or a similar place.
which is like, just hilarious that they have the same wording, but then
I
they're like, you
know.
can't have it, but then you actually
Yeah,
can
you
have it.
can.
The only thing they changed was allow.
Keep reading.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Uh,
So I just kinda, it's 8:30 now, and I know, I feel like we're, it's just
That's
so
good.
much to kinda tackle on. I would say just kinda like a hard
Did we get
stop
2
at
pages done
9.
already?
Yeah.
So
We started at 4.
this section,
That's like 2 pages.
next page, going over, so outdoor commercial amusement, I don't know if anyone has any others there, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, I would also, you know, business, again, I go back to, we do have those weird nodes of business, which having that as a special permit, sure, you have additional regulation. Animal veterinary hospital, this one kind of has come up here and there.
Mhm.
I
Doesn't
recommended
make sense.
allowing it by right in highway business, rather than special permit. I don't know what you gain by having a special permit there, whereas
Yeah.
CBD and B, those are typically more located
More central.
around residential.
Yeah.
We're actually lacking in those around here.
veterinary.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Really?
veterinarians.
At least there were 3 in town, I
I mean, you guys got Tufts, which
But,
is.
but the hospital,
Yeah, the hospital.
think.
Was that, the what?
Like animal hospitals.
Yeah.
Like I know people got bad long wait times trying to get them for their pets around here.
Where did that, one that was next to Cumberland Farms, where'd they go?
Bristol,
I don't know.
Bristol
They
I
might
Square.
think
Bristol
they're in,
Square.
That's my
I think
bet.
they're in Bristol
Yeah.
Square.
Where'd they go?
They're in like Bristol Square. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, they just went down the street a little
Down
bit.
the
You get a special permit on that?
No, I don't think so.
Well, you know, I
It's
don't think
over
that
there.
that's as bad, cause they don't have a lot of them, but a kennel, I mean, I saw like in the
Well, they,
industrial, limited manufacturing is allowed, I mean,
Oh, the commercial.
all I could see is a kennel with barking dogs, how would you, next to a business?
oh, I don't think the business, it's next to
Huh?
the family has
Yeah.
to worry about,
So that's why, like, you know, so just
McGuire's.
veterinary hospital, allowing it by right in our primary commercial districts, which are HB, LM, industrial,
yeah.
leaving it as a special permit within,
Business or something.
business and central business district.
Yeah.
You can make that argument just because those are surrounded
That
by
makes sense.
residential.
Yeah,
Sure.
The next one though, commercial kennel, my comment was actually just to not allow in business or central business district.
That seems.
well, not central
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
I would say not
Business can
allowed
be
there, and I would
very
even
widespread.
put it as a, special permit under limited manufacturing, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, trying to run a business and stuff, you have to get some,
Earmuffs.
control, you know what I'm saying, it's like.
Yeah, I know.
Those commercial kennels definitely get a lot of, you hear a lot about that in terms of just concerns, you're right, cause it's the
Yeah.
noise, it's, you know.
It's actually, I was talking to a
So
planning board.
so,
guy,
what would you say, not allowed downtown?
Not allowed
Yeah.
downtown, I can make a special permit now.
I would,
Everyone's
I would
upset.
do it.
Yeah.
Just
I
so
think
you
you wanna
can set some parameters or
Leave
something on it, you know?
SBZ
Oh, yeah.
business.
So, yeah, don't allow them to be or CBD and make SPZ and LM, which I guess we're
Well,
kinda.
I think in the business areas, I think that, well,
Commercial kennel, it's different than veterinary, so.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What is it, 6 or more, I think? Commercial kennel?
I don't know.
I think it is, because we talked about it once before, I think we had it at the planning board with them.
Yeah.
I think there's
Well, there's one
enough
on
business
Winter Street,
areas
there's
that,
one.
business that you can probably do a kennel or
Would
something.
it be in
out of
definitions?
it. I think
It'd
that.
probably be definitions, yeah.
J, number K. Commercial vehicle, location capabilities. No, no definition.
Nope. Yeah, I don't,
But I think that's in the Board of Health, all right?
it probably.
It likely
I think
Yeah,
it was
it's
one of
probably
those
in
It could also be a
things,
state
code or-
definition,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's,
Check definition, I suppose is one thing. And I think there might be certain areas of business where it could be allowed.
a commercial kennel. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think it's gonna depend on, yeah, because they aren't gonna want it if the business district is surrounded by residential,
yeah,
but, there might be some locations. I'm not sure how exactly they operate it.
yeah.
How quiet they can make it.
I mean, I could leave it as a special permit in business. I think central business district doesn't really make sense.
Yeah,
or
I
something
agree
like
with
that.
that,
Yeah. I know there's one down, I think it's on Winter Street, and looking to see what that zoning
yeah. I
is.
think there is, that's probably,
I'm not
Oh,
sure where it
Winter
is, so I
Street?
don't know.
I think it's on Winter Street, I mean, this was
I'm thinking of
15 years
something-
ago.
That's the other
Winter
side of
and
Winter
what?
Street, right?
Let me
The
find.
West Walpole side?
I think it was down in, let me find, where was it? Is it Northeast Kennels? Yeah, Winter Street, off of like Vintage Farm Lane, it's like,
Hmm.
I think that's up the area off of West Street, kinda,
yeah.
that side of Winter Street.
See, like there's West Street in Winter,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think, Pat, your plan makes sense
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you
Yeah,
know,
you don't want it downtown.
I don't think we're losing anything. No offense to the commercial kennels out there. Keep it out of the
They
downtown
aren't selling puppies.
So I looked it up in the state, it says at the end, there is no
definition.
minimum number of dogs listed. Definition, but.
Somewhere around here?
Must be,
Hmm.
it must be like right here. Oh yeah, it's right where
So
that
that's-
little pond is.
That's RA,
Interesting,
or no, R,
interesting.
and the gray is RA, so that's the rural zone.
They got a lot of open space where it is, I think, at the moment anyways, until they start building up
Oh, yeah,
there again.
vintage farmland, yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's in rural.
Interesting.
So how did that happen?
Yes, they had some open space for sale.
Officially, it's not allowed, so maybe it was there before the zoning?
That could make sense.
That must make sense, I don't think it's that old,
Their
but I'm not sure on that.
their website says we are happy to
Right.
announce that we are open for business, so they can't be that old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, that is odd.
So we good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
sorry.
No worries, yeah. Automobile service station, which is interesting, so I mean, how do we,
Highway business, limited manufacturing, industrial.
I could consider be, although I think about like a mechanic shop, we have that defined elsewhere, so it's very,
Yeah, this seems similar to like a gas station, a car repair,
Yeah.
car,
cause we have, so automobile
Automobile.
service
You
station.
really think central business you want?
Well, then we have an automobile repair establishment.
yeah, so what's the difference?
Let's,
Cumberland Farms is a little gas station. Auto repair stations, you got people that are actually fixing the cars. You got hydraulic.
an automobile service station, full service gas, so it's gas station, so that's where,
Okay.
yeah, it's not a, so I said consider in business, only because, I don't think it's,
Can't find it.
it's not anything, but just wanna bring that to,
What about those pockets of business though? And then if we told the
True.
neighbors there's gonna be a gas station right next to their
No
house.
one wants a gas station.
Which is funny, cause technically, traditionally, that's where gas stations were. If you go in the history of gas stations,
Yeah,
a lot of those were kind of sporadic and within
Oh, yeah.
neighborhoods. I mean, I could keep it out of business, just doing that there, because we do have some business that might make
It's
sense,
like,
but.
he said, at one point there were like 3 or 4 downtown gas stations.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, there used to be,
I don't know how they-
gas
how they
stations
evolved.
used to be a lot, I mean, I'm talking about like, you know, the 20s, 30s, 40s, a lot more frequent. There was a ton of gas stations all over the place. You see a lot of like old, you know, mechanic shops or old, you know, you can spot an old gas station pretty frequently, and it's usually something that was
Well,
commercial and is
nowadays,
now new
all the
use.
repairs going to the dealerships, probably. You
Yeah.
don't have as much going to the outside mechanic, I suppose.
Mhm.
So, Subaru, is building a whole new building, a warehouse down there for parts, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna be about as big as the other building, and we were talking to, one of the guys, and he says, we need the space for the parts, he goes,
Wow.
because like, pre-pandemic, or whatever, people were keeping their vehicles only about 3 years, maybe 4 years, something like
Yeah.
in that range, right?
Mhm.
He goes, but since then, people are keeping the cars almost 7 years, like 5 to 7 years.
Wow.
So they're in need of more repairs, which means more
They need
parts.
the parts for more
And their
cars.
part sales have really gone up.
Wow.
So that's just the Subaru, so that must be across the board, you
I
know,
think so, yeah.
I think so.
with all the manufacturers, but, I mean, and I'm a perfect example, I've been leasing cars for, what, 25 years?
Yeah.
3-year leases, and, this past spring, my wife and I, we both bought the cars out. They were worth more.
yeah.
I mean, my wife only had 14,000 miles on her car, and I'm gonna trade it in. She had more than 20,000 miles to go on the lease, right? But, so we almost had to buy it, and my truck was selling for almost 10 grand more on the lot than what they
Jeez.
were offering me in the buyout.
Yeah.
So it was like a no-brainer, we had to buy them, really, you know,
Wow.
so.
That's interesting. Alright, I guess back to this, like, I mean, this is just a comment, if we're okay leaving it as not allowed in business, just for the off chance that someone puts a gas station, you know, on a little node.
Well, I'm
the
just
business
thinking,
district.
the one little business right near us is
Yeah,
27 in Washington.
Yeah.
There's a little chunk of business there.
Hmm.
They'd love to put a gas station there, I suppose, even though there's one up to the lights too. I think
Yeah.
There's 2 up to the lights, 3, if you stretch it a little bit.
I don't know, I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think there's enough area in the
Yeah,
town where
to
it
put
is
something.
allowed that.
And I don't think it's something, you don't just spur of the moment decide you want to put a gas station in.
Yeah,
So I got a few questions on the next two, Y and X. So automobile parking lot for which a fee is charged and those parking lots not covered under 5B4X,
mhm,
which is the next one, and an automobile parking area for which no fee is charged provided that such area is located on a lot in immediately proximity to a non-residential district. One, when is there a parking lot for which a fee is not charged that is the primary use?
yeah,
So what primary use is a free parking lot?
right, that somebody spent money
To
to
build.
create and
Yeah.
then maintain, but then don't
Yeah.
charge anything.
So
I used
a
to
parking
go
lot
down
for which a fee is charged, I can understand that as a location like Highway Business District, walking to Gillette, people do that all the time.
Mhm.
It might be something a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I mean, should X be an institute, like in the institutional area? Like the only thing that I can think of is like the town itself could build a free parking lot if it wanted to.
yeah, so it's weird. So I mean, we could, but I don't know if we even really need permission.
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
do
I
it,
mean,
you know what I mean? So that's,
Yeah, just
Um,
strike it.
yeah, that's my kind of thought. I mean, I don't know if that's
So
missing
would
it.
this be something like a business that bought a separate parcel or is leasing a parcel and put a parking lot on it? You know, like if you didn't
So-
have enough parking on
this
your
is-
own property, you would have to lease.
Sure. Look, so this could be moved, I mean, if we
Okay.
kept something like this, I would move it to accessory use, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it a principal use, is what
The
I'm
one down
looking at.
on, the old Kendall Boulevard, where they're using parking off-site,
Yeah,
that kind of fits into this. They're not
But that's an
charging- I don't think they're
accessory use
charging it.
to.
yeah, but do they charge?
I don't know if they're charging for that or if it's part of their, whatever their.
Hmm.
The
condo
95
fees
West?
are. I think
That-
that's.
I see what you're
parking lot?
saying. No, it's, I know what you're talking about, John, it's on the other side of the bridge, right?
Well, I
On-
think it has like couple of satellite parking lots.
Yeah.
it
That's
uses.
around the MBTA
Yeah,
lot?
I think one's over there and one's over towards the Episcopal Church.
So if
Yeah.
you lease the land,
Yeah.
is that still paying for the parking? You're not charging for the parking, you're leasing the property, right?
Possibly.
So I mean, you could actually have a business district that is abutting a GR. And with the special permit, you could lease the property, the
Yeah.
GR property, and have your parking lot on that, right?
So the one you're talking about, John, it's connected to a parcel, right? So would it still fit within
No, it's on the other side
a
of the street, I
secondary?
think.
But I mean, it's like a accessory use to some
To
main
the-
use.
To the main use, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's a good question.
But I don't think they own the property, they're leasing a certain number of parking spaces from it. And I think that's happening a couple of the other places downtown. They're leasing spots from neighboring businesses or something.
right, yeah, I think so. But, yeah, I don't know. I think 95 West had something with that. That was
Yeah.
before I was on the board, but I think they did have to have a special permit related to the parking, cause they
I think they
had
got
parking
That
over on
wasn't
this
GR,
parcel
though.
and
I
that
think we're
parcel
simple
or
business,
something.
Yeah.
Business, but. yeah.
But do they own the parking lot across the street, or are they leasing that, like over there?
I don't know.
Which one?
They have like 3 different areas and they divvied up parking to different people, I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe let's ask Crowley, do you think
Yeah, I'll
maybe he would
ask Jim on
remember?
that one. That's a good question to bring to him. Next one, liquor sales. Again, I see that as an accessory use, sure, but I
Yeah.
always found that I don't know why that's so household effects to be held not more than 3 occasions during a 12 months, and each yard sale is to be no less than 2 days, or no more than 2 days.
Can we give them parking lessons? Could that be mandatory for them? I mean, the way they park, both sides of the street angle
Yeah,
like this, I
right.
mean, it's.
Into the,
Oh, I had.
Yeah, again, everything has a story. I just thought it was like, I'm like, what situation is someone having a yard sale every single day?
You know, there was one person.
I guess, yeah, there had to have been. That was exactly
Yeah.
the reasoning, but, I mean, I could leave it as is and just because it's funny and just move it to accessory use, but I don't know how many people, I don't know how
I
often.
think, yeah, I
Do it
think
for the
you're right, it's
meme.
more of an accessory use. No one uses that as a primary use.
No, and that's an easy fix to move it down there.
Yeah.
This is, I labeled this one, so any other retail service or any other retail business or service establishment provided that no such use is similar to the uses specifically permitted in these districts in general character and in effect. So I basically
oh my
said,
God,
remove,
you lost me.
I said either remove or properly identify. This is Z.
No, it's basically, it's a catch-all. We can't think of everything that's out there. Someone's gonna come in with something, it's not on our list, we have to say no. And we wanna have the option, yes, you can do that. So, tell us about what you wanna do. and,
Yeah.
okay, we'll give you a special permit to do it. It's basically a miscellaneous. You have
True.
to have it really,
But
because
we do
otherwise
have-
you're gonna be forbidding something you might want.
I guess my thinking with that is we have
Unless
we have the
it's-
retail sales and services that's very open-ended, that basically is
Mhm.
dictating it by square footage.
Right.
That's kind of where my thought is on
Okay.
that, where I'm like, oh, we're already kind of,
Oh,
Yeah.
any other retail business too, okay, yeah.
Retail or service.
So this kind of opens it
That
up.
is very.
that opens it up. And
I think it opens it up, and like I said, I think I mentioned before,
Yeah.
inspecting, I want a line in the sand. You
Yeah.
know, and it's either right or wrong, and this one here is, you could have an argument either way.
Yeah.
So it,
I don't know,
I wouldn't be against eliminating that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's, I understand.
I think I understand what they're
aspect,
trying to
but-
do, because we have these new businesses coming up all the time or whatever,
Yeah.
but.
But if retail's retail and service is
Yeah.
service, then it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
The
all
way
right,
they've
we're already
described
dictating it
it,
by the
yeah.
size of the.
Maybe we want to word it slightly different to keep it as the miscellaneous category. But you're right, because the way it's worded, it is really covered under the two retail sections.
Yeah. And then, I mean, like,
Um,
in these districts, general character and an effect on
Take
any
out the
user-
word retail and say any other business or service establishment, provided such use is similar to uses, whatever.
I think
Because
it's just
then
keep
the
it.
But
retail-
then, like, what if it's something that you could argue fits its retail or service, and they're like, well, I don't really want this use, so we're gonna send them to the board, so they can, like, give them a hard
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
So,
That's a,
how do you define similar?
Exactly.
exactly.
Right?
How do you
Yeah.
find,
Where-
how do you
where's that
find
line?
thought?
Yes, that's a good, yes.
What is regular
What is
entertainment?
Yeah.
Yeah, my thought is just to get rid of it, or, again, if there's a story and Jim can provide me with that, then cool, but if not, then,
I agree.
I think, because, you see what I'm saying, John, because we already say retail and service is allowed,
Right,
this is almost like
The
a
way it's
catch-all, but it's a
worded, yeah.
catch-all that's also
that's
can be
also covered
used to
somewhere
co-
else,
But it
yeah.
could also use to be say, I don't really want this business, I'm gonna send them to the board,
Yeah.
even though we have a section that allows for the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like screaming for a lawsuit. That's what it is.
Yeah, if you tried to send someone there, yeah,
Yeah.
they could fight it, be like,
But
why
you're like,
are
but I'm
you
a
sending
retail
me for-"
business, you're like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know that the business is, so I'm gonna send you to.
well, then technically, let's see.
I can see somebody getting it turned down and then appealing it, and then the court's gonna say, that's close enough, you know, and,
Yeah, it's
you're
such a
gonna get it
weird.
anyway, so.
I don't know. I mean, like this, I'm like 80% just remove, and then 20% could be better define what this actually is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm thinking the better define.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that's
too
the crowd,
open-ended. I would,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. just get rid of it.
so
So-
we're gonna eliminate that one?
I'll check with Jim what his thoughts are, and then I would probably remove. That's where I'm going, but I want to check with him. first. Accessory manufacturing use incidental to a permitted primary use. So accessory use incidental to permitted main use, including such light manufacturing as is usual in connection thereof, subject to the conditions that. I don't understand.
So this is like you can have a little manufacturing in the
It's like
street.
putting your little
Yeah.
machine shop in your business.
Okay, alright,
It's because sometimes you need to we make part that you don't find anywhere else. You made it the first time, you have to make it again or something. So they have their little machine shop in the corner. They
mhm,
can get out to the lathe and
Yeah.
do a little pipe or something, yeah.
okay, alright, that makes sense then. And the next one, same thing, I think open display of goods, it's an accessory
Yep.
use.
Mhm.
Accessory use.
I think number 2 is kind of,
Is that major
you're gonna
portion?
have to sell it on the premises.
Where's that for the accessory
Well,
uses, it's not the permanent main use?
Open display
Maybe number
goods.
2, the major portion of it has to be sold on the premises.
Sold at
I don't know
retail.
if I would,
Open display, goods.
Yeah, it's kinda weird, huh? Accessory use incidental to the permanent main use.
I mean, if something is bought online and shipped out, that's not considered purchased on the premises, right? Or it's sold,
Yeah.
it's sold at retail on the premises. I don't think I like
It
that.
almost sounds like a farm stand or
Yeah,
something, but I
right.
don't think that.
Because that
Yeah, I don't really like
that
that
could be a
language
major
either.
restriction on a business, right?
Such manufacturing use does not occupy an area exceeding 50%. Yeah,
Again, this is their
Especially nowadays
Yeah.
with,
lack of enclosure type of thing, that's kind of the same idea, I think, as this.
What?
It's not, they're not talking about enclosures so much, are they, or a total ground area. Oh, so it's different. Well, it's more than 25 or less than 25. Open display goods, let's see.
I see what you're saying, Ed. So I mean, if it's a incidental or an accessory use incidental to permanent main use, so if you're producing something or manufacturing on site for your principal use, why do I have to sell that on site if it's a component of your
Right.
main use? Or is that overly in the weeds too? Cause what if it's all just the same business, is,
well, the
Well,
way
it says
the way everything's bought online and shipped nowadays, it's
accessory
really
to a permitted use.
restricted,
Yeah.
restricted, don't you think? And then,
yeah.
but not only that, now, all right, so the, line 1 there,
Mm-hmm.
such manufacturing does not occupy an area exceeding 50% of the total floor area occupied by the main use. So does that mean 50% of the existing building, or can they add 50% onto their building and use that as accessory?
It's open-ended.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the previous one, AA you're talking
Huh?
about? You're talking
Yeah.
about AA?
What, well, yeah, but one, excuse me, AA1. So if you wanted that accessory use, does it have to be in the current building, 50% of the current building, or can you
No, it
add
doesn't.
50%
It
onto the
could
building?
be a separate
use it?
building.
Huh?
It could be a separate building itself. It doesn't
I
really
don't know, I could
specify.
argue with you that it's gotta be the same building.
Yeah. Subject to not exceeding 50% of the total floor occupied by the main use. Yeah. It's just a very weird, I'm not sure if this language is doing anything or providing anything different than what could already just be permitted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm producing, if I have a manufacturing business and I'm also producing a component for that business on site, isn't that all just the same business?
Right, like why are we breaking
Why are we
it out?
breaking
and-
that up into, yeah,
Yeah, it seems we're getting too involved with somebody's business.
yeah.
It's like, okay, your business is this,
So
okay.
you make a part and then you also, that part goes into a larger part. You're right, I don't know what you gain from this by regulating this. or what I'm missing here.
Boy, the whole thing is confusing, even the
Yeah.
first line, even when it says accessory use incidental to the permitted main use, so does that,
Okay,
that really doesn't mean that it has to have
Yeah,
any connection with
no.
what
Accessory
you're
use incidental.
building now, as long as it's a similar product or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Accessory use incidental to a permanent main use, including such light manufacturing as a thereof, subject to the.
I would be
Huh.
interested in the story behind,
Yeah.
the history behind this, like, what is this hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, let me see if I can find out.
you're right.
You're right, you got it.
I don't think I like anything in that.
I don't like anything
Double A,
either.
I mean, all 3 lines, 4 lines,
I don't know what we're gaining from it, it doesn't really.
nothing.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't fit
Flow
today's
together, right.
economy or manufacturing, I don't think.
No, that's a good point. So yeah, I mean, I was, go back to, I gotta sit down with Jim.
And you can only have 5 additional employees?
Well, I
for
knew,
that. You need, yeah,
when I was working in business, you manufactured something, we had a little area where we had a machine shop. There was like 4 or 5 people there. And if we needed something special part made,
Alright, guys.
have them make it for us. Or if they had to make a special flange, whatever.
let's just get through wholesale,
Mhm.
cause that was where the remaining of the comments, we just got a few more, on that 5. Open or outdoor storage of materials, supplies, equipment, manufacturing products in a storage yard, completely screened from view. So, do you further regulate this? And then also, we already just covered open display of goods or sales.
This is
Oh, no, different,
materials. This is not
yeah,
for sale.
storage, you're right, sorry.
This is
Ah.
like the mulch and the gravel and things that the landscapers all store on site.
Yeah. So I mean, my only comment is there, do we further regulate something like this, open or outdoor storage materials, supplies, equipment?
I think the basic idea is that you don't want it in the residential section where they
Yep.
make noise as they load it and stuff, maybe, or dump it, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming mulching quantities is rather powerfully
Yeah.
scented.
Yeah, I mean, I could leave this as is, I get the purpose of it, I think it's just, I'm like, alright, do you further regulate anything like this? Cause we say like screen from view, to screen from view, does it need to be a fence, does it need to be, vegetation? I'm not sure if
Well,
that's
it would have a buffer zone if it was near residential, so that would cover
covered you
that,
there.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Next one, coal elevator or gas storage tank other than an accessory use. So, again,
I don't think we really want it at all.
I don't think you want it at all, I would just remove it, yeah, other than an accessory use, so we have a primary coal elevator, I don't know. I don't know what that
If we
is.
have anyone working with coal, we're in trouble.
You know, I would remove that.
Well, the question I suppose is whether they determine as a gas storage tank.
But it would be primary, I guess, yeah, gas storage tank, cause you look at,
'Cause I know
propane or something like
propane,
that.
I was gonna say, is it gasoline or,
Yeah, I don't know,
Not
LP.
propane or LN2.
yeah,
propane?
I think propane,
Yeah.
yeah, but I guess.
I know the company I was working for, they had a couple of each LN2 tanks
Yeah.
outside the building.
So you could, I
Constant
mean,
use in the company, yeah.
I'd get rid of coal elevator, at least just.
I think we
gas
get rid of the
storage
coal.
tank. Yeah, you probably get rid of that, gas storage tank up there,
I don't think anyone wants.
Actually, why wouldn't a truck terminal or motor freight station be allowed in the highway business district?
what was that?
Yeah, that doesn't make
A
sense.
truck terminal or motor freight station? Why wouldn't it be allowed, at least by a special permit in highway business?
I don't
Yeah,
know, that's weird.
You'd
Huh?
think that's where all the trucks
Huh?
are. That's where the trucks are.
Yeah,
I know that, I know.
I can see allowing it as, I mean, I can see having it as a special permit in LM, just cause our LM's kind of a mess. Yeah, I'd make that by right, in highway business.
Special permit anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I would put SPZ on that one.
establishment for repair, store, I talked to Jim about this. A lot of these could be, and this is kind of my comment for a lot, for these like plant or bulk processing, wood or lumber, brewery, you can see that as a separate thing. Again, you have it as a your CBD, and again, that's more of a business than a wholesale, but sure. I think there's just a better way to kind of like consolidate some of these things. So heavy machinery, machinery, planned for light metal or plastic fabrication or finishing, planned for manufacturing electrical, electronic devices, appliance, like those, like Q and R, S, T, like those are all like there's more of a general terminology for that stuff that I think is better than just over defining it within this section, because I don't think you gain anything from that.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 comments at the end about adding that terminology for life science, biotech, medical, as well as what we talked about with, I guess, accessory solar, which I think would be something to kind of cover with town council.
Which letter are you on?
Those are comments I just have on this document at the end with,
Oh,
B
okay.
and W, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. To add to this primary one or to like an accessory?
So the solar would probably need to be accessory, but like life science could be like primary.
Okay.
That's something that would probably better define or have within this.
Yeah.
And that's like in
Especially
terms
where
of
it's more-
manufacturing, like Siemens technically.
Yeah,
is
like Siemens,
not-
yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of this is, I need to spend time really trying to get like the definitions, because I think how we're going to get this, at least a table to work is, it's gonna be the table with whatever additional subsection includes, like, the further regulation. But then it's also gonna need to be an amendment to section 14 with certain definitions that need to be covered as part of this change. That in itself is almost its own article. And then the remaining section, I guess, of section 5 would be a second article, to at least try to provide some sort of separation between them. One of the issues I had with, and I guess just, I'm looking at the time, but one of the issues I had with talking to Carolyn with this was just trying to figure out a format that worked without just renaming everything and then renaming everything again in like a year. Like it just could be a problem. So, and of course, this isn't opening. This is just kind of the language she had. So this is, I'm starting to kind of like compile some of this and move some stuff around. One of the ideas here was just, let's go to the end of my cork. Just moving accessory uses as part of the table rather than its own separate section. Footnotes also, like the way we have footnotes probably could be used to cover some of those additional provisions. So some provisions may work better as its own subsection, other than other provisions you could just add as a footnote, and that clears it up in itself. And we don't have to, it helps with the formatting, because now I'm not adding additional sections, which pushes everything down. It just adds it to the footnotes, and the footnotes become like the next page of the table. That's one way to do it. And I'm just starting to put together the accessory use table, which is going to be part of this table. I guess treat it as like 5B1(6). and that just helps
And
with
it
the
would
formatting.
it would follow the regular, like, primary use table? There would.
Yeah, it
follow?
would just be another section of
Or
the
within
table.
each, like, residential would have an accessory. And
Oh,
then-
yeah, I mean, that's another way to do it too. I guess that probably would be a better way to do it,
Yeah.
rather than have it all jumbled, so that's a good point. And I think that's what
You probably.
Our initial- thought was as well. like,
Okay. Yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
happy
that
to
or
understand
its
myself.
own, but, yeah, it might be better to follow because
Yeah.
you won't be
Well,
like
put it all,
doing that.
Oh, in terms
Like,
of.
you know, looking 5 pages later to find the accessory use to the primary
Oh,
use.
yeah,
yeah.
that, I did
Yeah.
find that tricky,
I don't
Because
know.
I was going through everything and said, where's this, then I finally found the accessory use table, I said, oh, this is where it's all now.
Oh, where it's gonna be, yeah.
I had
Yeah.
all sorts of markup or something. And then I suddenly find, oh, here's where they are, the accessory use.
Yeah. So, and we talked about, I know, tried to set up a public forum. I need to get you guys something that's a little bit more concrete from the comments we've had, kind of confirmed everything, so I'm gonna try to work on that primarily next week to get something for everyone to kind of take a look at. And then, I don't know the best way,
Were you
whether or
able
not,
to get
but,
the community room?
yeah, I got the community room of the library.
What
So,
date is that again? What
The
date?
15th, December, so December 15th, it's Monday.
I think that, yeah.
I thought you said yes.
Huh?
I thought I got an email from you saying yes.
Yeah, but I got all these things coming up.
Yeah, I know.
We got you
That's an idea of
first.
our,
Yeah.
You
The
didn't put it on
format-
your calendar?
Yeah, the format of those is really just kind of try to provide a background of, this is what we've had, this is kind of where we're looking to go with this, and then, obviously, fielding comments and concerns. Certain sections, if, you know, or if people are just wanting to kind of get an idea of what we're thinking of bringing forward for the spring. And like I said, I think it'd be helpful, at least in my brain, to do this before the close of the warrant and then after. But we'll figure that out a little bit later on. So.
Yeah, I think if we don't have
Do you remember where the
something that's like
meeting is?
controversial or like complicated
Yeah.
to discuss with people, then it may not be worth it.
If
to
we don't have
have-
the controversy, oh, not worth it to have the forum?
Yeah, I mean, like, if we can identify something that we see is like, you know,
Mhm.
a significant change or something, and we
Yeah.
wanna talk with folks about it, then it would be helpful.
That's a good point.
I think if we make the changes to for the 2 and 3 family and the GR, that's
Yeah.
probably something that would be worth.
Yeah,
Having a conversation, it's almost like have that, we could have the focus on that as opposed to the whole entire thing rather than, cause that at least gives us a direction before closing the warrant, if that gets, like, I guess just talk about the residential portion
Yeah.
of the table rather than the whole open-ended discussion. And then that way, like I said, we're considering changing this, what are people's concerns, here's our thoughts on why this makes
Yeah.
sense. And then, that's probably a better way to do
or
it.
steering people away from CBD into the MBTA
Yeah, another way,
zoning,
yeah.
like, that would be maybe something that we might
Yeah.
wanna
Yeah.
gauge.
And residential is always more controversial than anything else,
Yeah.
so that we just focus on the changes
Yeah,
on that.
that's where you live.
Yeah. That's actually very helpful.
Because if we do a forum and we talk about this line or that line in the use
Yeah,
table,
that's everybody.
like, I don't.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I didn't get you. So I hold on the room, I have to formulate, like I said, let me get this done for next week in terms of the first draft, have that provided to you and to Carolyn, and then obviously call out the residential and
Yeah.
kind of like break down what that is going to look like in a forum standpoint, like what are
Yeah.
we trying to attain from any public feedback.
Mhm.
Would we be open to trying to get feedback from also like digital asynchronous methods also?
It's not a bad idea, I just wonder if, I'd have to think about it. I don't disagree with, like, obviously trying to get as much feedback as possible, but I also don't know if, like, is that gonna be
Yeah,
overly.
I work with
Do you
them on-
remember the master plan survey?
Yes.
Yeah, there was some drama around that one,
I'm
so.
sure.
Oh, the way it was, what was the format, what was the?
Cause it was an
the
online
platform?
thing and then.
No, it was like this weird, it wasn't, before the survey itself was set up, there was another, I can't remember.
It was like a
everything now.
stakeholder thing.
No, it was,
There
I
was
remember
something
it was
going
this
with
to
it.
something at
different
the high
platform
school.
that you could like make comments in real time.
Yeah,
And it was-
interesting.
yeah, and
Yeah.
people changed other people's comments.
Yeah, it was weird.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was-
Yeah, I don't know.
My thought was, if we're having this on Monday the 15th,
Mhm.
would we wanna schedule another meeting for that Thursday afterwards? So we have the what comments we had fresh in our minds to
Yeah,
do any adjustments. So if that's 15,
You can do that.
16,
I don't
17,
think, I
18.
can't do that Thursday, I gotta.
so how about this? My first focus is getting you a better draft to take a look at, and then giving you.
Down the line, but I'm just.
Yeah, no,
down the line,
yeah, and then,
And you gotta, can you highlight the changes or put it in red or something, so,
yeah,
cause when
yeah.
you get the thing and look at the whole thing, it's like.
Yeah, it's hard to
red,
find everything.
One note, I just looked in my calendar, the 15th is the first night of Hanukkah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started trying to find a room. I was trying to find,
That's
trying
why
to
it's
find it over there,
available.
that's why I was,
Yeah, it's not good to have something like that on a holiday,
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
like town meeting on the day of Diwali, that was not good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just put tentative in the sense that I can always move it to a different location. I can move it here. I mean, I just love the idea of the community room, but I can always just move it to a different day that week. I moved it up. Initially, I was looking at the 11th and the 12th, but they weren't available, which is
Mhm.
the 15th was the next available day.
You checked with the, Council on Aging, that room?
That's a good thought.
I didn't check with them yet. That was my
Okay.
backup plan.
Oh, okay, cause you've done,
I've done it over
like
there
community
mostly.
forums.
Because that one's usually always open.
Yeah.
And so that's why I try to get the library because it's just easier to park there.
Yeah.
But
July 8th, yeah.
So is Hanukkah like the 8 consecutive days?
Yeah, the first night, I think the first night.
Cause
and
it
last
only has
night
the
are-
first night on my calendar, it doesn't
Yeah.
have the other night, so.
The first night and the last night, I think, are generally the big ones.
Cause it's 8 nights, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or 6, 8.
I think it's
I
8.
try to think of the menorah.
The menorah.
I think it's
Yeah.
an Adam Sandler movie about that.
Oh, really?
And song.
In song, yes.
Mhm.
All right. So I think we're good for me to kind of get you guys all something. I'm gonna try to, like I said, that's my focus for next week to get this done and to you, and then that way I'll revisit the forum though, and I know what the focus of it will be, but I'll take a better look at the date and consider a different room. And if
Okay.
not, I can just email you all again on a different date in December.
Yeah,
Right, so the changes, you either put in red or highlight, so.
I'm gonna need to highlight them for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that. Okay, I think that's,
So, are you
alright.
still gonna go with the 15th on the,
I'm gonna put a kind of an asterisk on it and then try to see about maybe finding a different room or a different, no, I mean, a different date. It's
Different
Hanukkah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other way to do it is if we split ourselves up and do 2 smaller ones, then it's probably not as much of a problem if one of them is on a holiday.
I mean, we-
but-
Or do
Yeah.
2 sessions somehow.
Yeah, so I mean,
Well, that's the
So
thought,
we
is
can
like,
have
I
two
can
sessions
either,
that nobody comes to.
that's why I'm like,
good point.
that's a very good point.
The MBTA one was good though, we had a good crowd at the library.
Yeah, but that had a lot of like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
state momentum going onto it, this would probably be not a time. But you could also move this to after the close, you know, if it gets,
Right,
if right now is kind of, that's another thing too, I was thinking of trying to get this all done now. Could also just push this off till after the close of the warrant as an opportunity to discuss with the public. And
Yeah.
then if there's pushback like tremendously, then on the housing things, we'll have to address it then. But you're right, if having a meeting in December is kind of like,
It's
at
rough.
this point, it's rough. I don't have a problem pushing it off either
yeah, I mean,
entirely.
I think that might be better, we would have
Yeah.
it like more defined, we would have, you
Yeah.
know, an article,
That's a better idea, yeah.
yeah,
And
so
we
like
don't prepare well.
February or
Yeah.
something.
I like that.
No, that's actually, thank you for the feedback. I'm trying to, in my brain, I'm trying to make it work with the time frame, but it's getting a little bit iffy to do that when we
Yeah.
don't have a set. I'd rather, I guess, use time in December to have us review changes again after town council's taken our time to look at it as well.
Yeah,
So if we wanna do it that way and just, we'll not do the forum, but just have a meeting in December, do we wanna have,
sure,
wanna go
Well,
like,
we have the date kind of set aside already, you wanna use the 15th?
well, does anyone has to go to, does anyone
Oh,
celebrate
I don't-
Hanukkah? I don't wanna.
I don't know,
No,
no.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I'm the other kind of orthodox.
All right.
Can't do the week after, that's Christmas week, right, so.
Yeah, then
The-
it gets tough.
The week,
The
oh,
week
no,
after, and then,
no, that's probably the latest
I
I
have one day,
go.
I have one day free the week before though.
That's true. I could do the week before, but I mean, I don't know if that, everyone knows their schedule at the top of their head. This would be
Yeah.
the week of the,
No idea what's still
Possible for me.
yeah, I'm limited that week though too, between. I think the week of the 15th would probably be a better, actually, week for me,
Yeah.
in terms of scheduling. I'll go with 15th for now, I'll let everyone know, and if there's some issue, we can reschedule that. All right,
Motion
motion to adjourn?
Second.
Yep, second, all in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.